Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Surprise Jab Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Ruger, surprising you with new topics every single week and jabbing you with your daily dose of UFC. And today we have a very special surprise guest on the podcast, returning for his first time in 49 episodes. We haven't spoken to this man since July of 2023. We welcome back the one and only sports guru, Ryan Boniecki. Ryan, welcome to the podcast.
How's it going? Like you said, I think it's been 5-6 months. I've learned even more sports knowledge since then. I am the top sports guru in the Midwest, self-proclaimed, of course.
Of course.
And just happy to be back.
Honestly, it's so great to have you, and you know what this is. This is the Christmas episode special. It's so amazing. It's
1
the
hour till Christmas
time
baby.
of year. I know, it's wild. It's wild. And what I think the thing is about Christmas is that you look forward to it all month, and then it's just like, I feel like the day of Christmas is so good, it just flies by.
And then
it's over.
Then
just
it's
like
the
that.
26th. December 26th, most depressing day of the year.
And pretty much since I was little, I mean, I've had the exact same December 26th. I wake up in your house.
Yep.
My mother comes down, wakes
Yep.
me up at like 7 in the morning, says, time to leave. I say, okay. I proceed to go back to sleep.
Don't we? Yeah.
And then she
exactly.
comes back down, yells at me, and says, okay, get your ass in the car.
And I sleep through this. I've never experienced it. Same thing's going to happen in exactly like 29, 30 hours.
I
So.
know, but it's fun, and we enjoy it, and we have an
Exactly.
amazing time. And we have so much to talk about on episode 52 here of the podcast. I mean, we're going to be doing a blind rank again. Of course, last time, episode 3, one of our first episodes, we had you blind rank rappers. Today, we're going to be
Yep.
having you blind rank something else. Don't sneak
I
peek
have not
at it.
looked. I have not looked.
We're going to be going through our top 10 Christmas movies. We both had our own lists we made. Going to be talking a lot about the NFL. I'm going to be doing my end of the year UFC rewards. We have so much fun things planned for the podcast. Are you ready to get
Let's
into
rip
this?
it, man. Let's rip it.
Let's do it, man. But first off, I mean, I might as well ask you, how have you been doing in life? Because, I mean,
Man.
if no one knows, Ryan has just completed his first semester of college. All right, Ryan, where do you go? How has it been? Just give the viewers something to know.
Yeah. Sports guru is a side passion, side hobby of mine.
Of course.
Full-time hobby would be attending University of Iowa. About to go into my second semester as a freshman. Human physiology on the pre-med track major. I know my stuff. So not only am I a sports guru, I'm a body and medicine guru. A guru of many things. That's my nickname in
I like
college,
that.
actually. Yeah. College, man, it's amazing. Very fun time. Lots of independence. I've always been an independent guy, so I mean, it's fun. You know, school's hard, but you gotta balance school, partying, working out. It's really it.
It's a number of things.
You wake up, you go to school, you work out, you party. My life motto is work hard, play hard, and that I'm gonna get a T-shirt that says that and wear
That
it.
correlates to
wear
a
it
lot of
every
things
day.
in life. I think I
Exactly.
enjoy
Work
that.
hard, play hard. Yeah, don't want to flex. All A's first semester, University of Iowa.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And honestly, just waiting for the second semester. Really it.
I appreciate it. And you know what? It's weird coming back home. You know, it's always nice to see your family. But I'm not going to say you kind of do lose a sense of independence. It's thrown back to your high school days, you know.
Yes.
You got to kind of tell your parents where you're going, who's coming.
Oh,
instead
it's
of
weird.
just-
That part is
yeah.
weird, especially when I'm like about to like go somewhere. I'm like, hey, I'm going to like this person's house, or like I'm going to Target or something. Whereas in college, you know, you just
get up
go,
and do
man.
it.
You just do it.
You just get straight to it.
And yeah, so of course I love being back at home, but I have my college self and then my home self, and just bounce it between those.
I love it.
I
love it. What do you say would be something that you expected college to be like, and it is, and something that you didn't expect college to be like, and it's like that? What would you say those two things
So most people, it's the amount of free time you get when you go to college, but I had so many people tell me about that, so I was pretty much prepared for it, and they weren't wrong. Like, it's an insane amount of free, I had like mainly just like 3 classes a day, like 50 minutes each.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's literally like a quarter, fifth of my day. So the rest of the day, you gotta fill up time, which means a lot. Way more, I had never really studied in high school, like most people really didn't. So I mean, it's a lot of studying, going to the gym as much as possible. I rushed a fraternity my freshman year, so I had to do all my stuff with that. Yeah, that will be on a different podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of free time, so I was expecting that, but it was still pretty crazy. And something I didn't expect for college. I mean, I guess really like the lectures, like in class. Like I'm not used to being in class with like 500 other kids, so I mean that like walking into my chem lecture first day in August was pretty surreal, and there's 450 other kids in this giant auditorium.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty crazy, but so it took a while to get used to like learning in like a setting like that, but you know, we get used to it, man.
That's for sure. I mean, being a junior right now, I mean, I'm sure you experienced this, but I mean, I'm sure no one expects like when you get into the dorms how randomly and often you'll just go into other people's dorms and hang out with especially when you first get there, you hang out with random people that you have never met before.
That my friends my first week I don't hang out with anymore. Like I was just friends with them. I was friends with them because I met like two of them at orientation, and they happened to be in my same dorm, and then they had some friends on their floor, so I like went out and like hung out with them and stuff like that. But then like you start to meet like your real friends, and even some of my friends that I have my first semester freshman year, I know I like won't keep my whole freshman year because it's a whole new setting. You just got to figure out like who you like mess with, and because it's basically kind of like high school in a sense. Like some of your friends from freshman year of high school, you're still not friends with like when you graduate. So I mean,
no, it's so unique, and everyone has their different experience. Like for me, my best friend, he didn't go to my college my first semester of freshman year, and then he comes down my second semester, and then we end up being roommates next 2 years. And I actually know like 6 of people from high school who I was like semi-close with, who now I'm besties with.
That's crazy.
Like we're best friends with, and we hang out with all the time. So it's like different for everyone. But I mean, I know for you, I mean, did you know anyone when you went to Iowa?
Well, like my best friend is my roommate, but I love telling this story. We were family friends. He moved to Maryland in 4th grade. Yeah. In 4th grade, him and his family moved to Maryland. Our families and me and him stayed best friends. We go on vacation with them every summer. We go to Hilton Head, South Carolina. We visit his house every now and then. He visits here every now and then. And then it's crazy how we just decided on like the same college pretty much, even with him being all the way in Maryland. So I knew him. And like this, and I like, there's some other people that I was like, there's some people from my school that went there that I was like friends with, but no one I was really close with. So I see them every now and then and hang out with them. And like I said, I met some kids at like orientation, but like it was really like I kind of went in not really knowing like that many people. I ain't really, because like nowadays you reach out to like get a roommate. I didn't have to do that because it was my best friend. So like I never really was like on the social media aspect of it. I was just kind of waiting to like see what it was like in person, and I mean worked out. So
yes, and I really like, I enjoy that for you, because I know for me is I went the random roommate way, and growing up an only child, I'm not used to sharing a lot, especially even being in the same room as someone. And so sharing the room with someone random, it really taught me to appreciate having like my own space, having like independence, which I think is important for everyone. So I'd say like never like take your own room, never go like a single room route.
Definitely
like
not.
Your freshman year, always go with someone. You'll either learn to appreciate independence, or you'll go with one of your best friends. Like
I know a kid who did a single just because like he didn't want to have a random roommate, because he's actually like, you think people who do singles are like weirdos. No, this kid's actually a cool kid, and he regrets it so much. Like he wishes he did it. So I mean, never do that. Like it's all part of the experience. Don't like cheat yourself out of it or anything, you know?
No, not at all. But it sounds like you're having a good time. I love to hear that you're doing well.
Yes.
And that brings me a lot of joy. So something we do here on the podcast, Ryan, is we usually check in with like new UFC news and stuff.
Yes.
But there's been no real updates these last few days since I last uploaded an episode Thursday. And something else we do is we check in with the NBA and NHL on the records of the team. So we're going to do that right now, just kind of check in. I know we've talked a bit about the NBA occasionally. Don't know too much about the NHL myself. Do you know anything?
Not really. I mean, like, I know some of the guys and stuff, but I don't really, like, keep up with, like, the teams. But, like, NBA, I'd be knowing ball like that.
Perfect. So as for the NBA, the Eastern Conference, all right, we have the Atlantic Division, the Central Division. But as for the best team, I mean, without a doubt, it has been the Celtics. Celtics are best team in the
man.
East. 22-6 record, 9-1 in their division, currently on a 2-game win streak. I mean, they've been balling. They've been doing great, and currently best team in the NBA. They've been doing their thing. I don't know if they're going to
I mean, they're always pretty much a lock for the conference finals. I mean, I think has it been like the last 3 years or something? They're there a lot. So I love Jason Tatum. He went to Duke. Big Duke fan here. I love Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, great duo. And the pickup of Drew Holiday I'm pretty sure that was after we uploaded when they picked up Drew Holiday. But Drew Holiday, that's the type of guy you want in the playoffs. He's going to do wonders for them.
No, without a doubt. When we mentioned our podcast, this is such a side note, but we actually talked about where Damian Lillard would land.
Yeah.
And the rumor at the time when we first started was the Heat. The Heat. And it's crazy how he ended up on the Bucks, took such a turn, and now the Bucks are second in the Eastern Conference, 22-7 record, currently on a 7-game win streak.
They're hot.
They've been doing their thing.
Giannis is definitely hot.
And I feel good for the Bucks. 76ers are currently 20-8, third team in the East. Magic, fourth team. Heat, fifth. Got your Knicks, Cavaliers, Pacers, all in the mix.
Who would have thought the Magic would be up there, man? Jeez.
Not me. I mean, Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs doing the best they can. Yeah. But no real heaters on that team. I know they got, who's that French man?
Franz
Wagner, amazing.
Franz Wagner.
I mean, but towards the bottom of the pack, this is what we've mentioned since September, October. I mean, obviously, you have your Hornets, 7-20, 7-game losing streak.
I think we gotta talk about the elephant in the room.
They've been struggling with LaMelo, but yes, I was gonna get to them. The 26-game losing streak of the Detroit Pistons.
They started off 2-1.
They started off 2-1. They're now 2-27. I mean, they lose the next game. They actually set the record. They're tied with the 76ers for
Who do they play next?
Pistons.
I want to see if there's even a shot.
Pistons will play the Nets on December 26th.
Oh, I thought they were gonna play the Celtics.
No, they do play the Celtics December 28th.
The Nets.
Back
to back. I mean, they just played them.
The Nets are currently 14-15, coming off a win over them. I mean, I wouldn't say that the Nets exactly have any heaters at the moment. I mean, what's his name? Cam something?
Cam Johnson. Mikal Bridges, he's the dog on their team.
Oh, they traded for him. I forgot, but it's just, I remember, so last episode we looked at the roster of the Pistons because I kind of thought
Cade's been doing really well.
Because I kind of thought, okay, I didn't think the Pistons had that bad of a roster. But I mean, they got Cade Cunningham. They obviously drafted Asir Thompson. Jaden Ivey's their point guard. Bojan Bogdanovic, I mean, he's been in the league a while. Jalen Duren's their starter. And then James Wiseman, going to be a career backup center.
Yeah.
Who knows if he'll be in the league. And then here's the rest of their team. I mean, Killian Hayes, Isaiah Stewart's now on the backup. Marvin Bagley III. And as a Duke fan, how has it been watching his fall off? Number 2 pick to the Kings has sadly fallen off.
Yeah, I think he was doing pretty decent for the Pistons last year. I mean, just not everyone's going to live up to what it's going to be. I mean, in my opinion, he's better than James Wiseman, but...
Oh, I completely agree.
He never got sent down to the G League, and Wiseman did. So.
I mean, it's Joe Harris, Nets 3-point shooter on the bench.
A lot of this is just like... I mean, Cade Cunningham turned out. Jaden Ivey has not been that good.
No.
Duren's actually been decent, but I mean, still, they're drafting these guys to be superstars, and they're just doing decent.
No, Pistons, I kind of hope they lose to set the record, but something's got to change. Checking out our Western Conference, of course, it has been just amazing to be a Minnesota sports fan. Of course, the Vikings let me down. I'm not a big MLB guy, but the Twins let us down. Wild currently suck, but the Timberwolves, second best team, you could argue best team in the NBA right now. 22-6 record, 10-5 away, 12-1 at home. 2-game win streak. Timberwolves have just been doing their thing. They picked up a big win last night.
But are they the best in the West?
I mean, they obviously are the best.
I see that number 2 team. I'm picking that number 2 team.
You're riding with the Nuggets, who are 21-10, the number 2 team, 4-game win streak. Nikola Jokic he's unstoppable.
Oh,
He's absolutely unstoppable. I mean, what about the Thunder at the 3 seed?
I love the Thunder. I mean, they just Chet's gotta stay healthy. Hopefully that was just like a freak injury he had last season. Shy's been him. But they just have a bunch of those young guys. Giddy, Jalen Williams, the other Jalen Williams. They have 2 Jalen Williams.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. But they got some studs on that team.
The Young Kings team in the 4th spot right now, 17-11. They've been doing the thing as well, but sadly at the bottom of the pack, the Spurs with Victor Wembanyama, 4-24, 1-9 their last 10. I mean, it's just, I saw something from, I don't know if it was CBS Sports or ESPN, that said that Spurs players just don't like the idea of Victor.
That was
being
okay. I was literally gonna quote that. The Bulls were playing the Spurs, and it was actually the Bulls announcer, Stacey King, the GOAT, that said this. He said this in the game. He's basically what you were gonna say.
Yes, tell him
that Spurs players just they don't like the idea of Wemby being like the number one guy on the team, and all these guys think they're the number one guy. Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, they just think they're the number one guy, so they just think they can kind of do whatever. And I forgot to Jeremy Sohan. Those 3 guys, I mean, they're good, but when you have a guy like Wemby, you got to give it to him. And also, we have the roster pulled up. They don't have a true point guard.
No,
They don't.
None
and
at all.
with a guy like Wemby, you need a true point guard. I love Trey Jones. He went to Duke. He's a backup, just like his brother.
I mean, it's crazy to figure out. Like, I figured back when I used to play NBA 2K a lot, back in the 2016, 2017, 2018 eras, I used to know all the players. Right now, let me just read you 3 players from the Spurs. Sandro Mamukelashvili, never heard of him. Julian Champagne, never heard of him. And Charles Bediako. Might as well add in Sidi Sissoko.
Charles who?
Charles Bediako. He's currently a center.
Where'd he go to college?
He was an SEC all-freshman team.
Oh, that's a dude from Bama.
Alabama.
I remember.
It's crazy just looking at those teams. But, yeah, Spurs, Pistons, bottom of the league.
Yeah, for a reason.
But, yeah, it's been fun watching the Timberwolves excel this season. I really hope that they make the playoffs, break whatever streak.
Well, they'll definitely make. I mean, I hope they do. I could see them going on a little losing streak, though.
I don't know. We'll see. Interesting point quickly before we get past the NBA. How about the Warriors? 10th seed currently, 6-4 their last 10.
Yeah, 5-game win streak.
5-game win streak, but then before that it was like a 5-game losing streak.
Yeah.
They just can't gel anymore.
They're kind of starting to find themselves. They got 2 good young guys, Jackson Trace Davis, and then the dude, he's got this weird name, this like European dude. He's starting for them now.
For the Warriors?
Yeah, pull up what's his name. I don't know how to pronounce it.
No,
Brandon Podziemski. A little Polish guy.
Podziemski.
He's starting for them now, and
What about
yeah, he went to Illinois. They got some young guys on the come up. I'm saying without Draymond Green's a cancer, man. Draymond Green leaves, 5-game winning streak. It's not a coincidence.
No, without a doubt. Like I remember I was talking to my dad about this. Is that you cannot be punching people in the face, choking people out. You're getting assault in the real world. In
Yes.
the NBA, like he's mad he's getting fined. I mean, he's lucky he's still in the league.
Exactly.
And another point, I mean, I just keep making points, but the Suns, currently the 11th seed, 14-14. I mean, that Kevin Durant trade has just quickly turned into the Deshaun Watson trade of the NFL, where you gave up so much for a veteran.
They can't stay healthy. It was the same thing. It was the Nets' big 3, Harden, Kyrie, and KD couldn't stay healthy, could never play together. And then when those 3 guys aren't playing together, you have no depth on these teams.
No.
So then you have bums starting, and Beal, Booker, and KD. I mean, I think they've only played in a couple games this season.
Yeah.
And they lost in those games too, which is also kind of sad.
Very embarrassing, but shout out to the Timberwolves from me personally. As for your Bulls,
They have been doing so well. I could talk about the Bulls for 30 minutes.
Have you been following the Bulls?
I have.
You clearly
Ever
haven't.
since
13-18,
Zach-
10th seed.
Well,
What are you talking about? 6-4 the last 10.
They were probably at one point like 8-16 or something. They were doing bad, and Zach LaVine wanted a trade, and then now he's hurt in quotation marks.
Okay.
Hasn't played in the last 6, 7 game, or not even like 10, 12 games. And our young guys, Kobe White, Caruso, Ayodesumu, and obviously DeMar's there. Kobe White especially, he's going to be an all-star. He's been really stepping up, and I don't know, they're fun to watch. They are.
They're very fun. I will say, watching Lonzo get hurt, I mean, skill set wise, Lonzo is just, he's
two years ago, Bulls were the 1 seed in the East.
He attracted attention. Lonzo Ball did. It sucks seeing him potentially never step on the court again.
1 seed in the East, man. Never forget it.
1 seed in the East. Let's move past the NBA quickly. Check in with the NHL. Yeah. I know we don't follow the NHL, but we couldn't help but see last night, Blackhawks star, of course, the most talked about hockey player in a long time, Connor Bedard, hit a, what do they call it, a Michigan?
A Michigan, indeed, yes.
Absolutely impressive. Wrapped it around. I mean, you cannot make this stuff up. I mean, he's so fun to watch. I don't know so much about the Blackhawks. Do you watch the Blackhawks at all?
Yeah, I do on occasion. It's really just at this point, it's let Bedard develop. We pretty much suck without him. I won't lie. But I mean, this dude is the next big thing, and when you have a guy like that, you build around him. We'll have a good draft pick next year too.
Mm-hmm.
Cause where are we in the rankings right now?
Blackhawks will be in the Western Conference. Yeah. You guys are.
We're last.
Yeah, you're 10-22.
Doesn't surprise me.
How many points? You guys have 21 points. You might not be the worst. You are the worst. No, you're actually second to worst. Sharks are 9-22-3 with the same amount of points.
Nice,
21.
Nice. Makes me feel better about myself.
Yeah. But the best team, obviously, in the NHL is the Canucks actually have passed the Golden Knights since we last talked. They now have 49
I know the Golden Knights
points.
Are good.
Wow, Golden Knights, yes. The Golden Knights are second best, 47 points, 21-9-5. My Minnesota Wild, 15-13-4.
Right above the Blackhawks.
3-game win streak.
Oh, nice.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty similar to the NFL. Bruins doing pretty decent, 19-7-6. Rangers, 23-8-1. I mean, NHL, it's pretty even. Pretty even at the moment. Senators at the bottom, Blue Jackets at the bottom. It's tough for me to give an input. I mention this every single episode because I just don't know a lot.
I know the Bruins are good.
If I were to rank my leagues I know most about, I would definitely go, first off, UFC. I would consider UFC a sport, but that's not one of the big four, so I'll get rid of it. NFL, I obviously know the most about. Then NBA. I would say NHL, then MLB. But NHL and MLB.
I'm the same. I do know more MLB than NHL. I like following MLB, but I mean, I don't know. NHL playoffs are fun though. I'll say that.
I mean, yeah. So NHL been fun to watch. Always interesting. Speaking of MLB, how do you feel about that Ohtani contract? I mean, it's been just the talk of every sports thing.
And they signed Yoshimoto or something like the top Japanese. I mean. That's what happens when there's no salary cap in the MLB. These top teams get whoever they want. The Yankees traded for Juan Soto, but honestly, it doesn't matter. You see it. The Dodgers won it in the COVID year, but haven't done anything since then. The Yankees haven't won it. Teams like the Phillies and stuff are doing well. So I mean, it's good to see Shohei on a good team though. I hated him on the Angels. He deserved better.
No, I love it. I saw him at the Rams game Thursday night. He was wearing a Puka Nacua jersey.
No, it was actually a Shohei jersey. He's
no
17.
Shot.
It was yeah.
How about that?
It was like customized.
I absolutely love that.
Which is funny because the Angels are the Los Angeles Angels, but now that he's on the Dodgers, now that they recognize him, but he's literally been in LA his whole career.
I heard rumors he was going to Toronto, but instead he just moved down the coast. He just moved down the coast to another California
he's a Cali
team.
Boy.
I love it. We have a lot we're going to talk about. A lot of NFL. I will say, it's for being the Surprise Jab podcast, being focused on NBA. We talk a lot about NFL on here, but it's just because during the NFL season, I just know a lot. I focus a lot on fantasy.
Yes.
I know you do fantasy, so we'll mention our teams. We'll mention a lot of that later, but of course, it's the Christmas spirit.
Exactly.
It's the Christmas spirit. This is a Christmas episode. This is either dropping to you guys late Christmas Eve, early Christmas morning. And I asked Ryan before we began this to rank his top 10 Christmas movies. I was going to say Christmas songs, but I already did my top 10 Christmas songs on here. So we both made our list of our top 10 Christmas songs.
Got it right here.
And we're going to share them. How do you feel about that?
I'm ready, man.
Do you have any honorable mentions?
I do, actually. I gave one honorable mention.
All right.
I watched it tonight before you got to my house.
Okay.
This is my second year in a row watching it now. It came out last year. Violent Night with
David Harbour.
I was gonna say Hopper from Stranger Things.
Yes.
That's a good. I mean, it's still got to grow on me, but that's just like it's funny, and I like kind of like the action horror funny Christmas movies. That's exactly what it is. So I mean, it's not your like average like family friendly. Let's all sit on the couch and watch it together. But...
No, not all. Do you have any more? Or?
Oh no, that's just it. That's
okay, I have a couple actually. So one of mine is Daddy's Home 2. It stars Will.
Oh my God, I like that. That should be my honorable mention too.
It's Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really feel like a Christmas movie too much.
But it takes place.
Christmas time. It's so funny. I mean, you have Mel Gibson, controversial. Obviously, you have whoever Will Ferrell's dad is, notable funny actor.
Yeah.
It's a comical movie. I like the first movie. The second one, it's on my honorable mentions. I also have The Christmas Chronicles. I've only seen it once. It was with
that's with what's his face,
Kurt Russell. It was on Netflix. I just remembered it was a decent movie. Threw it on here. Fred Claus with Vince Vaughn, another one I've seen once. Remembered it. And Rise of the Guardians, an animated movie.
That's a good movie.
That's a good one, but it's not really. It takes place at Christmas time. Not really
Santa's
a Christmas movie.
But
And one I could say equally, we could both say is Krampus. Because our family, or at least
I was gonna put Krampus on my list, and I ended up not doing it. But that's kind of like our family. I mean, it is a Christmas movie.
It's just I personally don't rock with it because the ending is kind of depressing. Everyone dies, and then it leaves you up for interpretation. Spoiler alert, if the family's trapped in like that moment forever.
They pretty much are.
If they're trapped in a snow globe, it's a really weird,
we'll watch it tomorrow night. It's become a new tradition. It's kind of funny.
It's an odd tradition, but we rock with it. All right, do you want to get into our list?
Yeah, let's do it. Are we gonna do like 10-10, 9-9?
Yes, that's exactly how I do it with my buddies. So I'll kick us off because I'm the host, and then you can go second as the guest. So at number 10, I have Santa Claus, starring Tim Allen, the classical movie. Basically, Santa, not to be sound drastic, but Santa dies. Tim Allen basically kills him, and Tim Allen becomes Santa Claus, comes up with his family. I haven't watched it in a while, but it's widely popular, and I've enjoyed it every time I've seen it.
Number 10 for me, honestly, some people might not like it, is Home Alone 2.
Ooh.
You'll see in my list, I love Home Alone, and obviously Home Alone 2 isn't that good, but and the other Home Alones they all get worse and worse and worse. But I think Home Alone 2 is still like, I like it. It takes place in New York. It kind of still has like somewhat of the same features, and it's a good movie. Home Alone is just a classic, so I mean, Home Alone 2 is still.
I very much enjoyed Home Alone 2, and Home Alone 1 and 2. Obviously, personally, the first one's better.
Oh, 100%.
But the second one isn't like worse off where you shouldn't watch it. It's enjoyable. And the third one, they shouldn't even call it Home Alone 3 because it doesn't even correlate to the first two.
Yeah, and then there's a bunch of weird spin-offs.
But I like weird. That. At number 9, I have Santa Claus 3. Same.
Big Santa Claus guy here.
Same. I was trying to just think of movies that I've seen multiple times. But same universe as the first one I listed. Second one, I don't really remember. But the third one, you have Martin Short as Jack Frost.
That's the one with Jack Frost.
Takes over the North Pole. Yeah. I mean, I semi-remember that one. It's on here at 9, but that's just because I remember it. I have it on DVD. But I haven't watched it too much. There have been other Christmas movies, as you'll see, that I've watched way more. But number 9 for me.
Number 9 for me is going to be A Charlie Brown Christmas. Ooh. I mean, just... all I got is literally one word, classic. It's literally just a classic. Who doesn't love some Charlie Brown, Little Christmas, throw it on in the background while you're opening presents or something like that. Not going to be like a top 5 for me or anything. Maybe if this was 30 years ago, then yeah. But I mean, It's got to be on the list. It's a classic. You know.
I respect it.
Got
Personally, not a huge Charlie Brown guy. I mean, me and my mom feel this way, is that they bullied him. I know they bullied him on a number of episodes, but he always does kind of end up being happy in the end. But you're right. It is such a classic. And the creator of the Peanuts was born in Minnesota, so I got to give him some respect.
Fun fact.
Number 8 for me, I have A Christmas Carol. A Christmas Carol. The classic story of the three ghosts on
That's
Christmas.
it. I was blanking. You know,
Yes, basically the Scrooge ends up being positive in the end. The one that comes to mind for me is the animated version. Jim Carrey is the voice of the main guy.
And they made like a spin-off of it on like Disney Plus like last year too. I do know
Yeah, they've
that.
made so many versions of it. But I'd say just the story in general, I've enjoyed. And actually, back in 5th or 6th grade, I went to a play where they actually saw it. So it was actually pretty enjoyable. And I always enjoy stories where the main character starts out evil and always ends up being good. So number 8 for me.
And all right, and I lied. Number 8 is Krampus for me.
You forgot your list, I see.
I was like, because I said I was debating putting it on. I guess I kind of ran out of movies, and so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna throw Krampus on just because it's kind of like an oddball. Like now people are gonna be like, what, like Krampus? Okay. But like I think I've watched Krampus on Christmas like 6 years in a row now. Like it's like kind of like a tradition in my family. I'm a big horror movie guy too, so I mean like I love Christmas time. I love horror movies. You put it together. That's really it, man.
I respect it. I will say my only issue with Krampus is we do watch it every year, so I do know exactly what happens. There's no suspense. I basically go, okay, that person's gonna die. Okay, I'm waiting for the end, but you know what? It's not too bad at 8. I will say I have done that on here. I ranked my top 3 trilogies, and I forgot to, and I did honorable mentions, and then when I got to like number 4, I said one that was on my honorable mentions. So that's always embarrassing, but super funny. At number 7, I have A Christmas Vacation, National Lampoons, of course, Chevy Chase. Super funny. Watched with my girlfriend
They're actually
this
watching
year.
it upstairs right now.
It's a classic. I love all those National Lampoons movies. I find Chevy Chase hilarious. And the Christmas one of the better ones.
That is a good movie.
Enjoyed
good Christmas movie. All right, my number 7 is going to be The Grinch, but the animated version.
Oh, okay.
That came out 3-4 years ago.
Not too long ago.
I really like. I saw it in theaters, and I really liked it. Also, like the OG Grinch, I don't know, he weirds me out. He looks weird. Jim Carrey, I'm sorry, he's like scary in it. I know the Grinch is supposed to be like, but I don't know, he's just really weird looking. But I like the story, but just like the animated version, like it's just a good movie. That's the only animated movie on my list too.
Perfect. I absolutely love it.
Besides Charlie Brown, but yeah.
I absolutely love it. Because at number 6 for me, I have the Grinch, the Jim Carrey version, Whoville, the live action version. I personally love it. I find some moments funny. It's one of those movies, like I said, character starts out kind of bad, turns out looking pretty good.
Ends up nice.
And how weird he is, I find that personally hilarious. But yeah, that's number 6 for me.
Number 6 for me is going to be one that Zach already mentioned as an honorable mention. It's going to be Fred Claus. I love Fred Claus. I've seen it multiple times.
No way.
I like Vince Vaughn. It's funny. It's a little bit like, you'll notice with my list, like I don't really have like I don't have like A Christmas Carol or like A Wonderful Life or anything like that. I kind of like the goofy ones, and Fred Claus is like something that doesn't really follow like the like original Christmas like track of like movies and stuff. And big Vince Vaughn fan.
No, there's really a scene that sticks out for me. It's when he's like, the elves are all around him and he's up on like a ledge and he's singing like an Elvis song.
Oh my God, yes, and they're all dancing.
That song, I love that scene, man. I think about that scene. Alrighty, wow, getting into our top 5 here. Big top 5 here. At number 5, I have A Christmas Story. A Christmas Story, of course. Young Ralphie gets his BB gun, his dad, he tells the whole story. I loved it. It was my dad's favorite Christmas movies. And it's just one of those where it's just a good Christmas story. You have a character. He doesn't deal with too bad of things, comes out in the end.
Funny movie, a lot of funny moments.
A lot of classic moments, sticking the tongue on the pole, weird moments with the teacher, beating up the bullies, the dogs, the lamppost with like the woman in lingerie or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
I mean, it's a fun movie. I will say I did watch the sequel with my girlfriend and our family.
There's a sequel.
Did not hit the same. Ralphie was all grown up.
Oh, that's weird.
So, but the original, perfect,
Yes.
old classic.
5 for me. Don't argue with me. No one's gonna argue with me. It's gonna be Die Hard. Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
That's debatable.
I mean, if you don't think Die Hard's a Christmas movie, you don't know Christmas. Honestly, I feel like if anyone's gonna be angry with me, it's because it's not ranked higher. Amazing movie. Watched it on Christmas like a couple years ago. Just Bruce Willis. He's the GOAT. That's all there is to it.
I love it. I've only seen that at your house, by the way. I've only seen it over here. I've seen the sequels to it. I've seen like the third movie.
Oh
the
my
fourth
god,
movie.
yeah, that's right. They did.
They've made a number of movies. I've seen everything but the original, except at your house. So, but Die Hard, a legendary movie. Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Have you heard about Bruce Willis? His condition. Actually?
Oh yeah, wait, no, I know something's wrong with him, but
he I don't know if he's losing the ability to talk.
Yeah.
It's almost like a dementia type of thing.
Yeah, I remember.
So prayers up for Bruce Willis, but I mean that's a tough.
Bless up in the chat. Bless up in the chat.
The chat. That's such a funny thing we talk about. No one really gets that. I feel unless you understand. All right, number 4. I do have another animated movie. I have 2 more on my list actually.
Okay.
At number 4, I have the Polar Express. Legendary Christmas movie. I know it's either a love or hate it type of movie.
I hate it. I don't like it.
It just has one of those themes where obviously it's kind of a slower paced movie at times.
That's why.
But there's just something for me that gets it where he gets the bell from Santa, he loses it, and he wakes up the next morning and the bell's wrapped up under the tree. I don't know, it's poetic to me.
Mm-hmm.
There's iconic scenes from it. And obviously, that boy with glasses and that one girl with pigtails are really big on the TikTok.
Sicko Mode or Mo Bamba?
Oh man, but yeah, it lands at number 4 for me. I've seen it a number of times, and I have it on DVD. So when I went to make my list, I looked at I have this on DVD. That means I must have enjoyed it. Number 4 for me.
My number 4, said before, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Ooh, love it.
I just happen to love it a little bit more. Like I said, a lot of basically my majority on my list are either action, horror, comedy. It's just super funny, a little bit out there, not like your average Christmas movie. Like you said, Chevy Chase, man, he's hysterical.
I will say it's hilarious. Spoiler warning. I don't really think I have to say spoiler warning for that movie, but when the cops show up when they kidnap his boss, when just all that whole scene happens, I found that so hilarious. I very much enjoyed it. Alrighty, we're gonna get into our top 3 here. Top 3. My number 3 is Arthur's Christmas. You ever seen that movie, Arthur's Christmas?
You gotta remind me.
Arthur's
I'll
Christmas.
know what to say.
It's animated. Santa's has multiple sons. His one leads the North Pole, leads his whole thing. It's a giant ship. Arthur answers
that's
the letters.
Right. Yes.
You know that movie?
I would have put that on my list. I would have
without
put
a
that
doubt.
on my list.
Fun fact: I actually saw this with Grandma. Rest in peace to our late grandma. We saw this I saw it at the movie theater with her.
Dude, that was
an amazing movie. It is so wholesome, so heartfelt, and basically the whole theme of the movie is there's this guy named Arthur. He's one of Santa's 2 or 3 sons.
Yeah.
And he's kind of not the loved one, not the beloved one. And he ends up saving Christmas, proving that he is the next in line to become
James
Santa.
McAvoy.
I know, an odd voice to be the main guy, be a good guy like that. And is just so heartfelt, so funny, lovable. And I just very much enjoy it. The animation's good. The whole story moves along at a good pace. And I very much enjoyed it. And it's just memorable.
That's a forgotten about movie for sure.
Yeah, it's not too popular.
Yeah. My number 3, classic, A Christmas Story.
Very good.
Like I said, it's funny, man. I love Ralphie. I love the little adventures. I love the fam. That's pretty much it.
No, I mean, I covered it. You covered it. I always enjoy that. All right, getting into my number 2 Christmas movie. I mean, you mentioned the sequel to it earlier on. I mean, it was going to be my number 1. I was torn between my 1 and 2. It landed at number 2 for me. I mean, you just cannot deny Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone.
I have a scary feeling we have the same 2 and 1.
It's classic.
I have the same 2. Mine is Home Alone 2. Well,
Yes.
The first Home Alone, but it's like we both.
I get
Home
what you're
Alone.
saying.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone wanted to be that kid. You always wanted to just booby trap your house.
Oh.
And honestly, have you seen the breakdown of people who go, what would have actually happened
Yeah.
if he did the
That's
pranks
goofy,
or
yeah.
whatever? But, I mean, you just can't like it. Every kid wanted to be that kid low-key, stuck at home and trying to be him.
Do whatever you want.
And, it gels well. There's
does.
not a lot of bads of that movie. No. Number one. All right, I don't even. Is your number one a 3-letter word?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It might be the best Christmas movie.
It's gotta be.
It might be the best Christmas
That was my
movie.
unanimous one for sure.
Number one, Elf.
Yeah.
Elf, Will Ferrell.
William.
I mean, it is. I rewatch it every Christmas, I feel, and it never gets old. In fact, I
doesn't.
even notice things that I didn't notice in the past
It's
times I've watched it.
It's such a good movie, dude. I don't know. It's so funny.
It's good.
I watch that movie when it's not Christmas time.
No,
like, I'm not
it's-
even lying. It's just a funny movie.
It's enjoyable, and I mean, Will Ferrell plays the role super well, and I've seen Will Ferrell in a number of movies,
Yeah.
and he plays this well. The dad, his whole character arc of just grumpy, arrogant, and he accepts Will Ferrell as his son.
Yeah.
You would have Jess from New Girl as the girl in it.
Yeah,
That's the
I always
same-
I always forget that. That is just.
That's one of those things where I say how
Yeah.
good actors are because they're not the same type of
Yeah.
people.
The singing in the shower scene. That's
hilarious. Santa.
baby is cold.
Papa
outside.
Elf, I mean, it is amazing. Actually, the boy from A Christmas Story is actually one of the elves in the workshop scene. He's like the elf who's like directing everyone on what tasks to
Really?
do. Yes, it's crazy.
Wow.
Absolutely amazing. Such a fun time. And
Those are some good lists, man.
Good
I mean, same 2 and 1. I mean, it's meant to be, man.
it's just kind of obvious at times what the best Christmas
Yes.
movies are. And yeah, now that we finished our list, it's weird that we will not be watching our top like 2 or 3 movies. We'll be watching Krampus tomorrow, I assume. Unless the fam throws on something else.
Well, Aunt Chrissy, our aunt, hates Will Ferrell, so Elf will definitely not be played. I wouldn't be angry if Home Alone gets thrown on.
Or even a little Die Hard, something.
Die Hard would be good too. I haven't seen
Or
Die
a
Hard in a
Fred
minute.
Claus. I know you had that on your list.
Oh,
It was on my
yeah.
honorable mentions. Something like that. I really hope that we get to watch something like that. Debating what to talk about next. I have a number of topics for us to go over, including a blind rank for you. But I feel like we'll save the blind rank. I say we talk about some fantasy football. Talk about a little bit of fantasy football. There have been some shakeups today.
Yes.
To what I'm going to talk to you about. But I always find it interesting the positions that every player lands in. So I went through. This was done on December 23rd at 10 a.m.
Okay.
As I'm driving to Chicago. I was in the back seat. I wasn't driving, by the way. But I went through and made a top 5 list of every fantasy position up to week 16.
Okay.
Including the Thursday night football game and the top 5 fantasy performances of the season. I do know we do have actually a number 2 that made its way in today. You know what I'm talking about? A little Amari Cooper action.
Yeah.
But I figured we'd just break that down. Talk about some shockers. Talk about things that
Rip
don't
it,
surprise us. Let's do it. What position do you want to start with?
Let's go quarterback.
Quarterback.
Let's go a little in order.
Quarterback, the first position. So at number 5, he plays tomorrow. Lamar Jackson currently has 272.3 fantasy points. I mean, no really shocker there.
It's kind of crazy just because like some games he just doesn't do anything. Like there's been some games where the Ravens put up 30 points and he has like 8 fantasy points. But I mean, when you're running the ball like that, well, he's got 750 rushing yards or something like that. And he just keeps improving his passing game. I don't think his passing numbers are like off the rails or anything, but I mean, he's always going to be up there. He was MVP. That was 4 years ago. He was MVP, which is kind of
Was
crazy.
he 2020 or 2021 MVP?
2019.
Huh, how about that?
Yeah.
Alrighty, number 4. This has got to be a shocker. Currently number 4, 275.6 fantasy points. Brock Purdy.
Hey, man.
He's worked his way up to number 4 this season.
I'm surprised he's top. I wouldn't be surprised if he was top 10. I am surprised he's top 5. But I mean, when you got weapons like that, you're gonna put up fantasy points. So, I mean, he's just Mr. Irrelevant. Good for him, man.
He's been doing his thing.
They got a good QB system, little QB scheme going on.
The weapons do make an impact, though.
100%.
When you can toss it to Christian, toss it to Debo, toss it to Ayuk, Kittle, it's just...
That's 4 all-pro names, right? Well, Ayuk's not all-pro, but...
All right, at number 3, I have him currently. I don't think he dropped like a 30 bomb today. There's just no shot. I have Dak Prescott.
Yeah, he put up like 18 points.
He put up like 18, so I had him at 278.76 heading into his game today against the Dolphins. We'll talk about up-to-date games, by the way, on here. But yeah, Dak currently was at number 3. I assume he's still there. It might be a bit surprising. I will say this has definitely been a comeback year for Dak.
Yeah.
He had, of course, gotten hurt, had a rough year. But you know what? Cowboys have been an interesting team this year. They're kind of like the Bills, honestly, at times. They will blow out the Eagles, and then they'll lose to the Cardinals a random week. It's been odd, but Dak at number 3.
Yeah, not really surprised. I mean, not like super surprising. Again, you got guys like CeeDee Lamb, you keep Pollard, Cooks and Gallup step up. Dak's always been just a decent quarterback. Good fantasy quarterback, good in real life quarterback. I don't know. That's a bit more shaky.
That's how I feel. At number 2, he plays tomorrow night on Monday, or when you're listening to this, maybe the night of or the night after. Jalen Hurts, number 2 QB in fantasy, 313.6 points. I mean, it's almost perplexing how he's gotten this many points, because sometimes he's off games throwing, but it's those goal line push-ins.
13 rushing touchdowns will give you those points, and I'm pretty sure I know who number 1 is just because I know, because if Jalen Hurts is number 2, this dude's definitely number 1. Yeah, rushing touchdowns will do you wonders. It's a bit more points than passing touchdowns, so.
Absolutely, of course. Jalen Hurts, Eagles in a little skid right now, but and I will say this skid has definitely taken off Jalen Hurts of the MVP conversation.
Yeah.
You can't even debate him at now. And even Dak, with the Cowboys losing these games, it's kind of put a damp in his MVP conversation. I honestly feel like, let's say Christian McCaffrey has a huge game tomorrow night, you could give it to Christian McCaffrey.
I'd love to give it to Tyreek or CMC, but it's a quarterback award. It really is. It's Purdy or Lamar at this point.
Okay.
And I'm not going to say winner of the 49ers-Ravens game will get it, but they'll definitely be a bit more favored.
Without a doubt. And at number 1, I know he dropped 24 fantasy points Saturday night against the Chargers. Josh Allen. He had 323.44 heading into Week 16.
15 rushing touchdowns.
And despite
wonders.
And despite an 8-6, I believe it's now 9-6 record for the Bills. I mean, he puts up fantasy numbers. You can't ask for much more. I will say that Patrick Mahomes, who was we even mentioned this on our episode. We're going to go through and talk about our episode from the past. But we mentioned where Patrick Mahomes was going in round 1, like for people in a 12-man, 10-man. That has not paid off. He's currently in the 6 to 10 range for QBs. You'd have been better off going Josh Allen. And even him and Jalen Hurts' gap is only like 10, 20, 30 points, which isn't that much. Not at all. Thoughts on Josh Allen, number 1 fantasy?
Like I said, 15 rushing touchdowns will do you wonders. It's crazy with the amount of interceptions he has. He's still up there because, I mean, those are taking off a lot of points for him. But Bills, I mean, it's either pass the ball or run it with Josh Allen. The offense revolves around him. So, I mean, that's gonna stack up your points.
Absolutely, of course. Let's get into our running backs real quick. Number 5, I'm sure he got more points whenever the Saints played. Was that Thursday night against the Rams?
Yeah.
Alvin Kamara had 226.1.
He's the 5th running back. He was suspended to start off the year, too.
I know, so he's kind of came back. I think he's probably still 5th. Might have dropped to 6th or 4th, but he was 5th coming into Saturday, Sunday games.
Yeah.
Impressive being suspended. Although I will say the Saints are not impressive.
No, and I'm assuming the reason he's fifth is because Derek Carr loves to throw little dump-off passes to him. Kamara has a lot of receptions, so I mean,
he must have had some big weeks because I swear some weeks I play him and he gets no points against when I play him. At number 4, this has got to be one of the most wild ones of the year. I know he got points today. He did have 226.3 heading into Sunday's game. Number 4 was Rachaad White of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
He's had himself a year.
Is he a rookie?
He's his second year.
Second year. Yeah. Incredible. Number 4 fantasy running back, at least on my list as of 12/23.
He had a touchdown today. Yeah.
Touchdown today.
He scored today. Again, just like Kamara, he racks up receptions. But not only that, I mean, the last couple of games, he's been running it really well. And the Bucs offense is sneakily good. I don't think people understand that.
I mean, they just destroyed the Jaguars today, 30-12.
Yeah.
We're going to mention that. But, I mean, wow, Rachaad White, impressive. No one could have predicted that.
No
one could predict that. Number 3, I'm going to say shocker. I'm going to say this is a shocker. He got more points today, but at number 3 was Travis Etienne Jr., 236.8 fantasy points.
Interesting. So now I know who 1 and 2 are, but yeah, again, Etienne, he's basically their only running back, so he's gonna get the ball. He's gonna get the ball a lot. I mean, Etienne's a good running back, though. He really is. I kind of expect him to be a top 10 like fantasy running back, but I mean, three's pretty crazy.
3's wild. He's had some
good
impressive
volume,
games, but as for the Jaguars, yikes!
Bit of a skid.
4 straight games. Might lose the division. At number 2, I mean, I will say this man's landed at number 2 thanks to a lot of big weeks, then some mediocre weeks. But this has to be the biggest shocker out of every single list I have. I mean, actually, it's debatable, but I mean, Raheem Mostert, number 2 fantasy running back, 255.7. I know he got at lead 10 to 18 today.
Yeah, touchdown today, yeah.
So, I mean, just impressive from him. That Dolphins, that Broncos game.
31 years old. He probably leads the league in touchdowns. Him or CMC do. And I mean, when you're on that Dolphins offense, they're gonna boost your numbers. So,
absolutely impressive, very impressive. Checking in at number 1, I mean,
not a surprise.
I will say this has probably been your best draft pick. It should have been number 1 in every league. He has a 100-point differential from the number 2 guy.
That's wild.
Christian McCaffrey, your number 1 running back, 353.1, the best fantasy performer out of all positions.
Wow.
I mean, this guy's been insane this whole season. Absolutely insane. Multiple 40-point games, a number of 30-point games. And he's even, I think, missed a week and is still the number 1 guy.
I was going to say he scored a touchdown he had the one game without a touchdown.
I think it's been all but 2 games this whole year.
Yeah.
Including last season.
And most games he's actually putting up 2 touchdowns. I know last week he had 3 touchdowns. So, I mean, he's unstoppable. He's good. That 49ers offense is, honestly, I mean, in my opinion, the best offense in the league. Just like the way they format and scheme things up. But obviously the Dolphins are explosive and everything, but
incredible.
CMC, he's great trade for them.
I will say, and I didn't take him this year when I could have, at least in some of my drafts. And that's because last 3 years, I mean, it's been you take him number 1, has a couple good weeks, gets hurt, and instead that year
stayed healthy this whole season.
This year was JJ. JJ ended up being that guy.
Yeah.
3 straight 20-point games.
The curse.
It's something about it. I mean, think about Jonathan Taylor last year. He was supposed to be the guy, and now is just not that guy. Moving on to our wide receiver category. Coming in at number 5, this guy has actually made his way up to number 3, basically from his 33-point performance. But Puka Nacua had 265.8 heading into Thursday Night Football. And this rookie has just been on another level.
Who would have thought Puka Nacua would be a top 5 fantasy wide receiver?
No one knew he was. No one knew who he was.
5th-round pick out of BYU. Something about Stafford, man. It's that Stafford effect.
He can just elevate these wide receivers. Puka Nacua actually related to Dana White. I believe he's Dana White's nephew or something.
What?
Yes, I kid you not.
How is he? like he's
He is
Pacific Islander.
He is either related to Dana White or a very good family friend of Dana White.
That's cool.
But yeah, he had a 265 heading into week 16 and proceeded to drop 33 points. So
he had a good game.
I just Puka Nakua, shout out to you. At number 4, this surprised me. AJ Brown, 266.4. I mean, I know he's been good, but he worked his way up to number 4.
Yeah, the last couple of weeks he hasn't been that good, but earlier in the season, I mean, you forget about this now because it's week 16 right now. He had 6 or 7 straight 100-yard games.
Oh wow, yes.
Again, that was when the Eagles' offense was humming. That's when they were undefeated or had like one loss. And yeah, he's a touchdown machine. I wish I knew how many touchdowns he had like off the top of my head, but it's definitely double digits. He's just good, man. Jalen Hurts elevates his game for sure. No Ryan Tannehill throwing at him anymore.
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy. Going from the Titans to the Eagles has just shown how good A.J. Brown is. At number 3, I mean, this is, excuse me, this is very tough for fantasy owners. But he was out last week, and he still holds the number 3 spot. Keenan Allen, 278.86. Still number 3, even after he missed a week.
Again, who would have thought that? I mean, he's old.
I mean, Herbert just, I mean, oh my gosh. The Vikings game, he dropped over 30.
Yeah.
The game after that, he dropped over 30.
He's had a very good season.
So many targets.
I mean, that's Herbert's top, especially with Mike Williams being out. That's just Justin Herbert's top guy. He catches everything. He's always open. He's not flashy. He's not gonna score 80-yard touchdowns or anything, but I mean, he's just gonna get consistent 10-yard, 20-yard catches, and
and I feel so bad for him. He currently is the number 3 fantasy wide receiver. He'll probably fall out of the top 3, probably not the top 10 as the season winds down. But Chargers had an awful season, and he still managed to shine. That has to say something. At number 2, definitely. I think he dropped a 23 bomb today, but he had 302.3 heading into week 16. CeeDee Lamb of the Cowboys was honestly not even in the top 10, but 5 weeks ago, and
he's been doing really well lately, and
so productive.
He was probably 11 or 12 when he wasn't in the top 10. He's been having a very good season. He just gets better every week, every year. That Dak Prescott connection's good. I mean, CeeDee, he's a freakish athlete too. He makes some crazy plays.
He's incredible. I enjoy him. I don't know how this Cowboys team will do in the playoffs. We'll probably talk about that later. But CeeDee Lamb, you're up to I think almost 330 in fantasy points. Very impressive. And the number 1 guy, his point total was much higher heading into, actually, CeeDee's probably passed him for number 1 wide receiver. Actually, no, he hasn't. Tyreek Hill still holds the number 1 spot.
Yeah,
he had
even though he was hurt
he had
last week.
322.7 heading into week 16. I know he dropped.
He had 100 receiving yards.
We're gonna talk about him. He made a drop to 20 bomb this week.
Yeah,
but his differential was similar to McCaffrey's not but a month ago, where he was 100 points ahead of the next guy, but just injuries. 1 or 2 off games. Tyreek Hill's still the best wide receiver in fantasy football. Absolutely incredible. And honestly, you can put him, I think about Madden, all right? Putting Tyreek on a screen, putting him on a slant, putting him just a deep ball. I mean, just his speed is insane. Even in real life, you just throw a deep ball.
I believe he's at 1,650 receiving yards. I doubt he breaks 2,000, but he'll definitely break 1,800, 1,850. Best wide receiver in the NFL right now, all pro, having an amazing season. When people said Tua couldn't throw him the ball, just want to throw that out there. I'm a big Tua supporter, so.
Yeah, I honestly bet I was one of those people that said, I don't know if Tyreek's going to do as well. And I don't know if I want to say better, but certainly as good.
As good as on the Chiefs, for sure.
Alrighty, those are pretty much our big 3 categories. We'll get into our last 3, tight ends, defense, kickers.
And we can just kind of scan through those.
Yeah, tight end, I mean, at number 5, Evan Ingram, 176.9.
Which is crazy because he scored his first touchdown of the season 2 or 3 weeks ago.
I mean, he just does
he's
it.
been very, reinvented himself on the Jaguars for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt. Happy for you, Evan Ingram. You got some more points. You probably moved up a spot. Actually, you're probably number 4 at the moment. At number 4 when I made this list, which was just Saturday, so I mean, it's this list is just about as good as you can get. George Kittle had 177.7.
He'll probably have a good game too. If he did get bumped down to 5, we'll probably
The
get
only
back
thing
up.
hoarding George is the fact is the 49ers have so many offensive
too many
weapons.
guys.
I mean, you see a 40 bomb from McCaffrey, and if you're not getting 40 from McCaffrey, you're getting almost 40 from Debo, or you're getting 30 from Ayuk.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane. And then you get basically into your top 3 tight ends. There is almost a 30-point gap. Sam Laporta is actually the number 2 tight end at the moment.
Sammy boy.
He was number 3 when I made this list, but he was at 205.2. He dropped some points this weekend against the Vikings.
Probably went to a good college too.
Just ridiculous. I mean, the rookie tight end, he probably won't win Rookie of the Year just because of how good C.J. Stroud did this year, and you got Puka Nacua. But I mean,
I think Puka will win it, to be honest. Stroud's been. I mean, I don't know. It is a lot of these main awards are QB awards. Stroud's been out the last couple of games. I mean, if Puka breaks the all-time receiving
for rookies or
for a rookie and breaks the all-time receptions for a rookie,
you gotta get it to him.
I don't know. Yeah,
but Sam Laporta, my favorite draft pick. I picked it. I saw a TikTok that said Dan, what's his name?
Orlovsky?
No, the head coach of the Vikings.
Dan Campbell.
Dan Campbell said he was gonna day 1 he was gonna use Sam Laporta in the offense, and I drafted him in a league. I missed that league. Actually, I missed that league by 1 game to make the playoffs. But my favorite draft pick, he I can't believe how good of a stud he's turned out to be.
Like I said, probably went to a good college.
At number 2 on my list, but he's number 3 at the moment. Travis Kelce had 205.4.
Just gets a lot of targets, man.
I will say, I think I took him number 1 in the 6-man All-Star League we had.
Yeah,
I
took him number 1 in one of my main leagues, and
I'm never doing it again. I will never do it again.
He's old.
He's old. It showed this
He
year.
wants to settle down with T Swift, man. He doesn't care about football anymore.
I lost all interest. First off, this Taylor Swift thing, it was semi-bugged me just because of how much they showed her.
Yeah.
But just noticing how many commercials he gets now.
Well, that whole Chiefs team, Andy Reid gets to stay on commercials.
A
Mahomo
Visa
gets
commercial. He's doing Pfizer commercials. He's doing car commercials.
He did do the Pfizer commercial. That's right.
He did the Pfizer.
Him and Jason Kelsey. I don't know what brand that is, but him and his brother did the one commercial.
Mm-hmm. Actually, him and Aaron Rodgers got beef over that COVID vaccine, the Pfizer commercial.
Really?
I find that hilarious. But yeah, Travis Kelce, not the number 1 tight end. Your number 1 tight end. I can't believe this. T.J. Hockenson, Vikings tight end. Still don't know how the Lions gave him up. I mean, it worked out. They got Sam Laporta, but we got T.J. Hockenson. He was at 209.2. I know he easily got 10 this past game.
Again, probably went to a good college.
What college did he go to?
Hockenson went to Iowa. Sammy Laporta went to Iowa. George Kittle went to Iowa. Tight end U.
How about that? I did not even know that.
Tight end U, baby. 3 of the top 5 fantasy tight ends went to tight end U, baby. So.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
But T.J. Hockenson, great. Tight ends are such dump off options when you're not looking at a running back.
Yeah.
And I will say,
he stepped up without Jay Jettis, and Hawkinson's been good.
Absolutely. And when you're looking at next year, Brock Bowers of Georgia, he's going to be a very good tight end in the NFL. All right, last 2 categories before we get to our top 5 fantasy performances of the season. Defenses, I mean, these have definitely changed since this last thing, but before the week, Jets were number 5 with 122. Obviously, Jets defense
basically
better than their offense.
The only reason that team has wins is because of that Jets defense.
I mean, Sauce Gardner, I know there's other players on that Jets defense, but Sauce Gardner immediately comes to mind. Great quarterback. Number 4, Dolphins 136 have exploded these last few weeks. Jalen Ramsey's return has been great. They have a great defensive line.
He's been the best. Statistically, he's been the best cornerback in the league since he's come back. Which is surprising. People think he's washed now, but yeah, no, that's a good defense. They've been pretty much top 5, top 10 for a while now. They force turnovers. Very good defensive line. You got Bradley Chubb, Christian Wilkins.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Good secondary too. Xavier Howard, Jalen Ramsey, Javon Holland.
And they won. They're
It's
actually...
a good defense. That is a sneakily good defense. You think about Dolphins, you think about the offense. They got some studs on that
Dolphins
defense.
are tough this year. Number 3, 139 fantasy points. The Browns defense. How about that?
Again, that's
killers on that team.
I mean, yeah, the Browns offense has been good, but Browns are 10-5 because of that defense. That defense has played extremely well. Obviously, you have Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith, and the secondary. The secondary's been very well. Denzel Ward, Martin Everson stepped up. Grant Delpit stepped up. That's a good defense. In my opinion, that's like not really in my opinion. Statistically, it is the best defense in the league.
They're very good. They're very good. At number 2, Ravens, 142.
They've been locked.
They actually are statistically. They've given up the least amount of points.
Yeah.
So they are the best defense. Big challenge on the final game of Christmas Day. But other than that, nothing to hate about this defense.
Kyle Hamilton, stud on the D.
Love it.
What's number 1? I actually don't even know what number 1 could be. I thought it was the Ravens or the Browns.
Number 1, they've had some doozies, but they've had too many big games. Cowboys 152.
Because of the pick sixes. Yeah, that makes sense.
Deron Bland has just gotten them so many touchdowns. They've had like 2 or 3 30-point games.
Yeah.
That you don't hear about that ever. Mm-hmm. But I will say, obviously the Cowboys, they got some points against the Dolphins. But, I mean, before the game was played, they only had a 10-point difference between the Ravens. So not as impressive of a defense as you would say. But, yeah, they're the number 1 defense on fantasy. Kicker-wise, I mean, there's honestly nothing much.
Just rip the top 5.
I mean, Matt Gay and Jason Myers were tied for 5th.
Ooh.
I know Matt Gay did decent.
Because Matt Gay is not in the league anymore. The Rams cut him. Wait,
You're thinking of I'm
thinking of Brett Maher. Oh my goodness.
Yes, Matt Gay's on the Colts.
He's on the Colts. That's right.
Used to be in the Rams.
To be on. I was gonna say
Jason Myers is
Seahawks kickers.
At number 4, Jake Elliott, 126 with the Eagles, average kicker. Justin Tucker, 127 with the Ravens.
Are we surprised? No.
And this is where things get crazy. The gap between 2 and 3 is actually 17 points.
Wow.
Dustin Hopkins, 144, did get hurt.
No, he
did hurt his
today.
hamstring today, so that's a doozy.
Yeah.
And number 1 kicker by a margin, Brandon Aubrey, 152.
Hasn't missed a kick this year.
I think he dropped a 5-bomb today, so he's up to 157. He's a rookie. He's a rookie too.
And he has not missed. I think this is his first or second year. He hasn't missed a kick in his career.
I don't know actually.
He has not missed a kick.
But Brandon Aubrey of the Cowboys, very impressive. Number 1 kicker, number 1 defense, number 3 QB, number 2 wide receiver.
That's pretty crazy.
And yet they lose to good. They only lose to good teams. They lose on the road. They lose on the road.
They'll have a home game the first, or actually I don't know.
Alrighty, but yeah, those are all of our fantasy positions. I'd say biggest shockers. I would honestly say Brock Purdy being a top 5 fantasy QB.
I think, in my opinion, the biggest shocker is Puka Nacua, without a doubt. I don't think people were even gonna think he was even gonna do well. Nonetheless, be a top 5 fantasy wide receiver as a 5th round rookie.
I have 3. I have Raheem and Rashad White being top 5.
Yeah.
Raheem being 2. Raheem being 2
touchdown machine, baby,
by like a 30-point margin, and then Sam Laporta. I mean, just Sam Laporta ridiculous. I mean,
that's a big surprise as well, too.
Him and Puka are pretty much similar, where they're rookies coming in and taking over.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we'll round out our little fantasy talk here with the top 5 fantasy performances of the year so far.
Honorable mention to Amari Cooper with what he did today.
Who is currently number 2 for fantasy performances of the year.
Really? Oh, wow, he's 2. I didn't even think.
Dropped a 51.2 or 4. 51.2 or 4.
10 receptions.
256.
250, 260, 2 touchdowns.
I mean, absolutely did his thing. A solid game on my bench. But okay, to be fair, when people hear that, why was he on your bench? I had T. Higgins and Rashee Rice starting, and Amari Cooper had come nowhere near 50 points all year. Had a couple 20 bombs, but yeah, at number 5 before Amari Cooper dropped his bomb. Do I guess who it was?
I had a question. Is DJ Moore on this list?
Of course.
As a Bears fan, is he on the list?
You'd be surprised. I thought there were way more popular games. This is basically, I went through all the every position and looked. So I don't know if this is actually accurate, but this is what I got.
Yeah.
But DJ Moore is, of course, on this list.
Okay, so DJ Moore is on the list. I know Jamar. I think Jamar is the number one, so I'm not gonna guess him. I think of that Dolphins Broncos game. So I'm assuming Raheem and Devon are both on this list. You know, I'll go Devon A-Chain, number 5.
Wrong guy.
Raheem, wow.
Raheem is your number 5 fantasy.
Is Devon on the list?
Of course, Raheem.
Oh, wow.
Raheem in week 3 against Denver dropped, I'm trying to find it, 45.2 fantasy points.
I was going up against Raheem Mostert in this game, guys. Just want to point that out there.
And just absolutely insane stats. 82 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns, yeah.
7 receptions, 60 yards, and a touchdown.
That game was insane.
It's ridiculous. Raheem, this definitely helped him for securing that number 2 spot fantasy. Do I guess number 4?
So, I know Devon's up there. I know DJ Moore's up there. I know Jamar Chase is up there. I'm missing one guy. I don't know who that is. I'll go DJ Moore.
DJ Moore, you're close, but it's actually Christian McCaffrey. In week 4 against Arizona, he dropped 48.7 fantasy points, 106 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns, 7 receptions for 71 yards, and a touchdown.
4 touchdown game. Wowza.
Absolutely incredible. He usually does that once a year. Wasn't it last year? He had the game where he threw for a touchdown, passed the touchdown.
Yeah, first player, I think, since the GOAT, Walter Payton, to do that. Yes. I don't know if he's the first player since. Well, I know Walter Payton. He joined Walter Payton to do it.
Very much so.
Yeah.
It. All right, our top 3 before Mark Cooper secured his number 2 spot.
Gotta be DJ Moore.
DJ Moore's 49-point bomb.
What a great game!
Thursday night.
Was a Thursday night game against the Commanders.
Week 5.
I'll never forget it.
8 catches, 230 yards, 3 touchdowns. DJ Moore. DJ Moore's a great, amazing wide receiver. He's amazing. So yeah, top 2.
Devon A-Chain, number 2.
You got it. Week 3 against Denver, 51.3 fantasy points. I mean, this basically secured that. That was an amazing draft pick out of Texas A&M. 202 rushing yards for 2 touchdowns and 4 receptions for 30 yards. 2 more touchdowns.
200 rushing yards. If he didn't get hurt, he's a top 5 fantasy running back, 100%.
That's not. The Broncos gave up 8 touchdowns to Achane and Mostert. I can't even with that. And yes, the number 1, obviously number 2 is actually Amari.
Yeah.
But number 1 of week 5 against Arizona, I personally find this hilarious. Of the top 6 fantasy performances, 3 have been against the Arizona defense.
That's crazy.
Jamar Chase, 52.2 points, 15 catches, 192 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And the only reason he did better than DJ Moore was the receptions. 7 extra receptions.
Yeah. 15's a lot. I think the record's like 21 or something. So, I mean, he was close.
Something like that, but absolutely impressive from all of those guys. But when we look at it, I mean, Bengals struggling to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't even think they're in right now. Dolphins are now tied for best team in the
11-4
in the AFC. Bears by some miracle
still in playoff contention.
I don't even know
if there is a chance the Bears will make it.
And the 49ers, of course, are juggernauts in the NFC. Very, very fun. I think next up we are going to revisit our episode.
Oh yeah,
that we.
This is gonna be fun. This
was so. If no one knows, this is actually incredible. Ryan was our first ever guest on the Surprise
5 months
podcast.
ago. I just did the math.
July, I believe 7th. It was.
Was it early July?
It was July 6th or 7th because UFC 290 went down on the 8th, and we dropped our predictions.
Was that Izzy? Or no, was that John Jones or Izzy?
That was Volkanovski.
It was Volk?
Volkanovski.
You watched the Volk fight at my house?
Volkan Yair, Pantoja Moreno, Bo Nickel knocking the guy out in 40 seconds.
Right, yeah.
Remember that?
I bet on Bo Nickel. under
Yeah.
fight time.
Also, we watched UFC 285 this year, where Parker bet on Shavkat to finish Jeff Neal in like a certain timestamp.
Yeah.
And literally seconds after that
Yeah.
timestamp, he submitted him.
Wait, 285 was Izzy.
Nope, 276 was last summer. Izzy and Cannonier, I fell asleep because of how boring that main event was.
Wow, man, time flies, man.
I know, honestly, but
I was gonna say I watched an Izzy fight with you. I just couldn't remember.
it was sadly a bad one.
It's weird how whenever we hang out that there's a UFC. I mean, besides this,
It's worked out twice this year.
Yeah,
3 times if you include last summer. 2 summers ago, actually.
Derek Lewis and Cyril Gahn.
Wow, you were up here. You were at my house for that. Wow.
Yeah.
We've actually seen it now. Derek Lewis versus that old Russian head, Alexei Oleinik. You remember that? And they cut out right before he finished him. Wow. But yeah, episode 3, I had you on. We gave a bunch of NFL takes.
Yes, I
we
remember.
gave a bunch, and I had you do over unders for every team, which was super fun. So we're gonna revisit that actually.
I have zero clue. I have zero clue whatsoever what this is gonna like. What I said, I don't remember.
No,
I remember one thing and one thing only.
Share that right now.
I basically not to this extent, but I basically said that the Jets were the Broncos of this year. People were hyping up the Broncos last year. Russell Wilson coming in, and it's basically the same thing. Like Aaron Rodgers comes in, and just because you get a quarterback doesn't mean it's gonna save the team. And obviously, what happened with Aaron Rodgers, I'm not gonna take credit that I predicted the Jets were gonna be bad because who knows what they would have done with Aaron Rodgers. But I mean, hey man, you look at the records, I was right. So.
It was when you look back at the Jets and the Broncos, they're eerily similar.
Yeah.
Number of things. Let's get right into this. We were talking about fantasy drafts, and you mentioned taking Jonathan Taylor before Bijan Robinson, and taking Austin Eckler before both of those guys.
Okay, the Austin Eckler one, very unfortunate would happen. Well, Austin Eckler and this was before the whole weird running back situation where they all wanted to hold out.
Yes.
And then Jonathan Taylor had that fake injury. The games Jonathan Taylor's been in, he's been doing well. He had a touchdown today, okay. And the whole Bijan situation
it's not his
really
fault.
is
It's not
really
his
weird.
fault.
It is so bizarre. He had a good game today. Last game he had 4 total yards on 1 or 2 touches.
And they don't give him touches for some reason.
Eckler is just washed up now. That's my bad on the Austin Eckler take. Was not aware that he is a grandpa now, so now I know.
Chargers just suck this year, but it's weird to think. A year ago, Jonathan Taylor was the number 1 pick. Mm-hmm. That doesn't make sense.
I took him.
I did actually mention that Bijan would win the Atlanta running back room. I feel like it's got to be obvious now that he's better than Algier and Patterson.
Yeah, but Arthur Smith will always want to keep that as a workhouse running back committee where they cycle guys in and out when we all know Bijan's the stud of the group.
I mean,
you take a running back 7th overall or top 10 overall, whatever it was.
I compare it to the Lions where you got Jameer. They want him to be the speed guy. Mm-hmm. David Montgomery's the power guy. Bijan's low-key both. I mean, Algier's not a power guy.
And Algier's not as good as David Montgomery either. David Montgomery, as a Bears fan watching him every game, he is very underrated. He is a good running back. Lions did it right. Falcons, I don't know. Arthur Smith's a goofball.
I'm trying to find his stats right now as we speak, but we did say that this was going to be a Tony Pollard breakout season with Zeke
and
leaving.
He went on a 12-week touchdown hiatus.
He's the number 11 guy in fantasy.
He gets yards. He does not score touchdowns.
No, he has 5 touchdowns out of the 15 games he's played.
Let's look at the touchdown hiatus, though. How many games is that?
He 9? Went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games without a touchdown. Best fantasy performance. He's dropped 22 twice.
He's just consistent. He just racks up yards and receptions. So I mean,
just nothing much from Tony Pollard this season. I don't really want to say it's his fault, but at the same time, I just feel like he's an average running back.
Yeah,
I'd compare it to Alexander Madison. Where is
that dude nowadays?
We saw him get breakout games like twice. Like that's happened to Pollard when Elliott was out, and you're like, oh, this guy could be a starter. He ends up being the starter. You find out he's average, but Pollard is better than Madison by a mile. Bad correlation. We did talk about the top 3 Ravens wide receivers. We said they would be Odell Beckham, Mark Andrews, and Rashad Bateman. And little did we know, Zay Flowers would sneak in and become the number 1 guy. Obviously, Mark Andrews sucks that you're injured. Odell,
OBJ's had some good games.
He's irrelevant, low-key.
Yeah, he has some breakout games, and in other games he just kind of doesn't really do much. I loved Rashad Bateman coming out of Minnesota.
So did I.
I loved Rashad Bateman. I've been waiting for this dude's breakout season. I thought it would be this season. Like I really thought it would, with other targets around him, like other guys who are like gonna get attention seeked on them. And I don't know. I mean, he's not bad, but when you're a first-round wide receiver, I expect you to do well, and he really hasn't.
No, but shout out to Zay Flowers. He's actually become the number 1 target, maybe besides Odell, and not fantasy football. Or just not fantasy football. The Ravens in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting to see how the season played out following that take. We said that Cam Akers would be an L, or you did, and
I've been saying Cam Akers is an L. It's just facts.
And I will.
He sucks.
He got hurt, but I mean,
Hey man, when you're always hurt, man, that's kind of on you. I don't like Cam Akers. I think it was last year or 2 years ago. He threw a temper tantrum because he wasn't getting the ball enough, and then he was a healthy scratch. It was last year actually. He was just a healthy scratch. Like, bro just didn't play. And I also got personal beef with him because I drafted him last year, and in the first game against the Bills, he had 2 carries for like -3 yards. He gave me negative points.
You said that on the last episode, exactly.
I'll never forget it. I hate this dude. Cam Akers, if you're listening, quit football.
Cam, I personally, come on the podcast. Let's have a conversation. I'm joking. Another take we had was, or actually you had, I didn't really give an input, but you said DeAndre Swift would be an L this year.
He isn't an L. I'm not going to say he's a dub,
He's an N.
He's an N. N means you're neutral. N means you don't care.
I won't lie. I mean, look at these stats. I mean, by the way,
he has some good games. The start of the season, he was doing
4 rushing touchdowns, 1 receiving touchdown. That's bad.
That's just the run. The Eagles will always be a running back committee room, and Jalen Hurts will always steal. Looking at a non-fantasy perspective, DeAndre Swift is a good running back just to have on your team. Like, he gets the tough yards for you. I like his fit in the Eagles, but fantasy-wise, Jalen Hurts will steal all of your running backs. I had Miles Sanders last year. Trust me, I know. Jalen Hurts will steal them.
I won't lie. This is one of my favorite stat lines of the whole season. DeAndre Swift weeks 3 to 15 averaged 15 carries, but week 1 had 1 carry for 3 yards. Basically, everyone was like, okay, why aren't we using DeAndre Swift?
And then the next game, he had 175? Yeah.
28 carries for 175 yards and a touchdown. And then I'm pretty sure everyone, including me, was like, okay, this guy's clearly going to be a stud this year. Did not really turn out that way.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. In the QB realm, you said Justin Herbert would be a top 5 QB.
He was. Before he got hurt. Before he got hurt, he was.
Fantasy-wise, stat-wise,
yes.
Top 5 QB. Just, I think the defense of the Chargers was terrible.
Very unfortunate he got hurt as well, yeah.
You have to look to who he was throwing to. I mean, Joshua Palmer isn't bad. He's not a top guy. Keenan Allen was a stud. He lost Mike Williams. And do I have to talk about the memes of Quentin Johnson?
And Eckler's his dump-off guy, and he just was not Eckler. Ugh.
No, not at all. You actually said who you thought would be your top 6 quarterbacks of the season. Shout out to you saying Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts. Joe Burrow did get hurt.
Yeah.
But did struggle early on, so that was
But did pick himself up, I will say.
Mahomes, actually, stat-wise, is not a top 6 QB. Yeah. He's like 10. You said Herbert, he got hurt, and sorry, Chicago boy.
Did I say Justin Fields?
You said Justin Fields was going. Oh, man.
That's hysterical.
If you go back and listen, the meat riding for Justin Fields, you'd have thought Justin Fields was going to be a stud. Not as bad. This has probably been Justin Fields' best season. And yeah, I'll give him that.
And he was hurt for, 4 or 5 games?
I'll give him that, but I'm sorry. I still don't think he's your guy. I still don't think he's your guy. I don't know. What's your thoughts on him?
You want me to go? You want me to talk about it now, or you want me to talk about it later? I can talk about it for
We
like
can
30
save it because
minutes.
we are going to talk about.
Let's keep talking about this because I'll go off.
This was a huge L from us. He did return a kickoff today, but we said Dameon Pierce was going to be the number one guy in Houston. And okay, I didn't say this. You said he was going to be a 10 to 15 ranked running back in fantasy.
Dameon Pierce was hurt for like half the season. Okay, so I mean, I don't know to what extent we can do this. That was my guy last year in fantasy, so I kind of really started following him, kind of fell in love with him. But yeah, I mean, he was just.
Oh, you're right.
He was hurt for a decent amount of time, and then that Texans team was Stroud turned into a pass-heavy offense, which I mean, no one would have really expected whatsoever.
Okay, he missed 3 games. Let me just read you some of these stat lines. 24 carries for 81 yards.
That's not, yeah.
20 carries for 66 yards. Dameon Pierce has 3 touchdowns on the year, 2 rushing, 1's a kickoff return. No, this does hurt me too. I was a Dameon Pierce supporter. I drafted
was too,
him.
man. I fell in love with him, man.
But Devin Singletary, he had a couple last few weeks have been decent. Yeah. I actually had him benched when he dropped 20, and I would have made the playoffs.
And like I said, that offense just pass heavy with Stroud. I mean, good. They were putting up points too,
without a doubt. Favorite Bears take of the year. You said this was going to be a DJ Moore breakout season. I wish I filmed us.
Okay, I mean,
we could have clipped this and put this on TikTok.
He's had a good season.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm giving this to you.
Oh, okay. I thought you were about to make fun of me.
He's a top 10 QB with Justin Fields throwing to him. He has had the number 3 fantasy performance. I mean,
yep.
He's a great wide receiver, and it proved with this team. Absolutely loved it. You also said Darnell Mooney was underrated. I think Darnell Mooney is perfectly rated as a sucky wide receiver.
Yeah,
dropping Hail Marys.
Don't talk about the Hail Mary pass. Yeah, Mooney. DJ Moore has definitely outshined Mooney. To be honest, I don't really like. I mean, Mooney, he just doesn't really get the ball that much anymore. It's either Kmet or DJ Moore.
Love Kmet.
Yeah, no real reason to give Darnell Mooney any more time on this podcast. I won't lie.
We also mentioned that Deshaun would or should be a backup when it comes to fantasy football. Deshaun Watson, that is Browns QB. I'd argue,
also did get hurt.
Do I dare say that's an L that he shouldn't have even bet on a team? I mean, let me just tell you, Deshaun Watson had he played only 6 games this whole year before getting hurt. Did have 220 bombs and 18 bomb. Did have.
I was gonna say there were like a couple decent games in there.
But I mean, I'll just say there's just nothing appetizing about Deshaun Watson at all. And what hurts more is that he's the highest paid QB. That doesn't simmer right.
Yeah, he's getting a bag for doing nothing, or he's doing something, but that something is illegal.
Alrighty, I have 2 more before we get into our over-unders you did. You over-under the teams. When you said Breece Hall will do good this year, let's swap out good for great. All right, Breece Hall, a stud on this offense. I would say particularly the last couple of weeks.
No, the last couple of weeks he's been very well. Before that, I mean, that Jets offense is just horrible. It's very hard to do well in it. So he's obviously had some bad weeks, but I believe he's a top 15 fantasy running back.
Yeah.
And today he had like 44 points. So that's pretty good if you ask me.
It's damn good. And with Aaron Rodgers, could even be better.
Exactly, yeah.
And my favorite take of you, this is insane. This was recorded in early July. Ryan Boniecki said this, and I quote, "The Jets turf is very injury prone. I would not be surprised if someone gets hurt on the Jets in the first 1 to 3 weeks of the season."
I said that. I need that clip. I need to clip that or something, dude. That's crazy.
You gotta find that.
I've been no, because Nick Bosa tore his ACL, or
you mentioned another guy on the pod last time who hurt himself.
Yeah, that turf is messed up.
Absolutely wild. I don't know if the turf had anything to do with it.
It's not even. It's just that Astro turf.
It might have.
But like I said, I specified MetLife, and I don't like to hype myself up, but I mean,
That's an incredible
Yeah,
take.
yeah,
Sad
exactly.
that Aaron Rodgers got hurt.
I put it into the universe. That's my bad, A-Rod. That's my bad.
I will say I did catch some of the Jets game today. It was hilarious watching them be up 20 points in the fourth quarter on
27
the
to 7.
Commanders. And the Commanders
Almost
came
lose
back.
it and then kick a 50-yarder to win it. That
was pretty funny. We got I don't know, this shouldn't take too long, but we have I had you over under 16 NFL teams in July. Let's kind of revisit them, see how your takes did, and some of how mine did. We kicked it off with the Lions. Their over-under for the start of the year was 9.5 wins. Obviously, that Lions team currently is they're at 11. Lions are currently 11-4. You said over, so a hit for you. But
Love to see it.
You did say they won't make it past the divisional round.
That team is going to lose in the playoffs.
Okay.
Their defense is horrible. They should have lost to the Bears twice. You lose to the Bears once, I'm sorry, you're not making it past. They're not going to make it past. I think if they play that Rams team in the wild card round, Stafford revenge game, they're losing. They're losing to that Rams team.
Yeah, it's
That is a very fraudulent. You can see it too. That is a very fraudulent team.
Playoffs have been
They almost lost to the Nick Mullins.
shake it up.
They almost lost to the Nick Mullen led Vikings.
Lions could be looking at a Cowboys, Rams, Seahawks, maybe
Not
even
Cowboys. I mean, because they'll be the 3. So they'll either play the Rams, Vikings, Packers, or Seahawks.
Okay.
One of those 4, and all 4 of those teams can beat. I mean, they beat the Vikings today, but all 4 of those teams can beat them.
Tough L. We'll get to that matchup later. Second team, you had Chiefs. Their over-under was 11.5 to start the season. I should have known that was very high.
I said over, didn't I?
We said over. They're sitting at 9 with 3 games left.
Okay,
so
I mean,
it's not
they'll win
impossible.
tomorrow.
They really should. They probably should win out.
Okay,
I'm
honestly,
being
never
honest.
mind. That's 2-0. I'm gonna give myself a win for that.
You did say they won't lose more than 5 games. They're sitting at 5 games.
I said I won't lose more. So that's 2-0. That's 2-0
I
for
mean,
right.
no,
Let's
no.
look at the schedule.
Chiefs round out with the
Bengals.
Raiders, Bengals, and Chargers. So that's easy
2 wins. All right, I'm
2
giving myself a win for that.
2 wins. Bengals could give trouble.
I'm 2-0.
Ravens over under was at 9.5. You said over, but you said best they would do is 10-7. I said 9-8, and we said no shot they win the division. Where did this Ravens team?
They're gonna win the conference.
This Ravens team decided to be the best team in the AFC. 11-3.
All right, I'll give myself a
defense.
halfie for that. 2.5.
By the way, an incredible 6-1 on the road. You rarely see that.
That's good.
Ravens completely surprising us. We had them as mediocre.
Yeah.
They basically are going to clinch the division.
Yeah.
There is a weird scenario that the Ravens lose out and the Browns win 2 of 1 games.
Mm-hmm. They did clinch the playoffs, but yeah, they have not clinched the division.
Yeah. This was hilarious. This was one of my favorite stat lines of the pre-year. In the NFC, the Panthers over-under was 7.5.
Oh, my Lord. Was it actually?
It was 7.5.
I know I smacked the under.
You slapped the under.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is absolutely amazing. You said Bryce Young is not that good. Will be a bust.
Hey man, I know. Well, I'm not gonna say he's a bust yet.
Bit mean, but
I know ball.
You said Miles Sanders would be an L. Beautiful take.
Wow.
Chuba Hubbard's been better. And you said under 6 wins, potentially 4 or 5. They're currently sitting at 2 with 2 games
I was
left.
generous with 4 or 5. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
say that's a good take. I won't lie.
I was generous. I should have said.
I wasn't high on the Panthers, but I did kind of feel that maybe they'd win more games, being how goofy their team was. But clearly, a goofy team doesn't get you far.
All right, 3.5.
Browns were at 8.5.
I wonder what I said actually.
You actually said even. So basically,
I said 8 to 9.
It was you either said they were at 8-5. You either said they were going to go 9-8 or 7-10. So you said it was basically like they're either going to go directly over or directly
9-8 or 8-9.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna. They've had a surprise.
And you said they would play teams close. That has been an excellent take.
Yeah.
They've played every team close. from the Bears to the 49ers.
I want to watch this. I need to listen to episode 3 again just to.
Browns are currently sitting at 10-5, 3-game win streak, 7-1 at home. I mean, I
that
will
away record.
I won't lie. This is a team I would like to play in the playoffs. I just feel like their season.
I feel like Flacco's magic's got to run out at some
The thing with
point.
Flacco is, as magical as he is, he does throw picks. He's one of those guys where like there's no care.
He threw 3 against the Bears and somehow still
I
won.
compare him to Nick Mullins, where Nick Mullins will throw for 400 yards and 4 picks.
Yeah.
But
that Browns defense is good enough to give him that.
Oh my gosh, number 2 defense in the league.
Yeah.
At number 2, we had number 2. What am I saying? Next up, we had the Texans. Their over/under was 5.5 games. You compared them to the Panthers, and that they're the same level of team.
They have been surprised. I mean, and I completely fell onto the Texans bandwagon. I got Stroud in a couple fantasy leagues. I got Tank Dell in a couple fantasy leagues, and I fell in love with them.
Nico.
I was doing that dance with them, dude, in my dorm, just hitting the dance. Yeah, I mean, who thought the Texans would have 8 wins, dude? Nobody, no one.
We picked the under.
Yeah.
We picked the under.
Yeah.
We said there were no offensive weapons. Little did we know CJ would have Tank Dell. Little did we know Devin Singletary would do good.
People thought CJ Stroud was a bigger bust than Bryce Young. Just because bro couldn't score good on the Wonderlic test.
Texans took a massive L with Case Keenum behind center against the Browns today.
He's been back there twice.
But
now.
I don't know, they're 8-7, and oddly enough, they're tied.
Who did they beat last week? They won last week.
They beat the Titans in an absolute overtime heater.
Without Stroud.
It came down to the final seconds.
Now, with the field
Absolutely
goal.
amazing. Kai Fairbairn. But yeah, Texans catching us by surprise. It's weird to think that the Panthers line was 2 games better than the Texans.
That's crazy.
This one's wild. The Jaguars over-under was 10. A solid 10.
Flat.
We slapped the over. We said it was a crappy division. They should easily win this.
They can smack
After
even
their
still.
bye game. After their bye. I mean, everyone, the experts said, especially, who's the bald guy with glasses?
Marcus Spears.
ESPN?
Marcus Spears. Is he black? Big
No,
black?
he's white.
Bald dude with glasses. White dude. Rich Eisen?
It might be. I don't think it doesn't matter, but he's basically said that the Jaguars had the easiest division to win in an ESPN Plus article.
Oh, well, because no one thought the Colts
And
or Texans would be what they are, and now
And the Jaguars have lost 4 straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, then they might not even hit their over. Actually, the best they could do is tie.
Yeah.
Very surprising, and as crappy as a division as they have, I mean, it's been hit or miss with all 4 teams: Jaguars, Colts, Texans, Titans. Vikings over/under was 8.5. You said the over. I said the over. They're sitting right now at 7-8. It could hit. It
Again,
could
though,
miss.
the Kirk Cousins injury definitely. With Kirk Cousins, they'd definitely be over.
I think if we had Kirk, we'd be one of the best teams in the league. Our defense.
That's wild.
Our defense has performed amazingly.
That's wild.
We haven't even given up 300 points yet.
That's
All
wild.
right, we're sitting at plus 15.
That is an insane take.
I will say it's weird.
Look at the worst defense in that division.
The worst defense is the Lions.
Oh, I just did that, but yeah. Like I said,
We'll talk about that. I love looking at
yeah.
that. I love looking at that. I don't think the Vikings are fraudulent. I legit think that this turned into a mediocre season.
Because of Kirk. I mean, yeah, that Kirk injury hurts
you've
us.
seen-
I feel like that shows how valuable Kirk is.
You
to
have
the
seen
team.
with Dobbs and Mullen that having a good QB makes a difference.
The Pastronaut was good, and then he turned into the astronaut.
All right, I hate we have to end on that for the Vikings. But yeah. 49ers over-under was 11.5. Do you know what you said?
I probably said under.
You said under 11.5, which
Yeah.
we were very
I
conservative.
don't like to. I don't like.
We
I
were
feel like-
so conservative.
I feel like I just in my head I'm like 12 wins is a lot.
You said shaky QB, which we didn't.
I was not a believer in Purdy.
No,
yet.
we mentioned we like Purdy, but we said he was still shaky. We didn't see.
He's
them,
only played half the
we
season.
didn't see
yeah.
them losing more than 6 games. That won't happen if they lose out, and they will not lose out. This 49ers team has the best point differential in professional football. With
234 is crazy.
that's their points allowed. It's actually plus 191.
No, yeah, I was saying 234 points allowed.
Oh,
is insane. Yeah,
5-1 at
that's
home,
crazy.
6-2 on the road. 49ers team, and I remember they were on a 3-fight skid. The Vikings beat them best win of the season by far.
That's right. The Vikings on Monday night, right?
Yes, that was so fun watching that with all the boys. So hype. But they got past that. They found their groove, and now they're scary to play.
Yeah.
So they could actually not hit 11.5, which is kind of funny. But
They will.
You know what? They probably will.
Yeah.
Buccaneers at 6.5.
I better have said over.
We said
Did I say
the under.
I said under? I hated on Baker?
Right.
I was not thinking straight.
No. You said under, but you also mentioned that you would not be surprised if they went over 500.
I'm telling you, Baker can be good, dude, in the right situation.
So it's one of those scenarios where you kind of said you kind of want to be right in both scenarios.
Yeah.
But I mean, Buccaneers are 8-7. They now have a game lead.
They're hot.
They're
hot.
There's a time they're on a 4-game losing streak, 4-game heater now.
Yeah.
Currently leading the division, and they own tiebreakers, I'm pretty sure, over the Falcons and Saints.
Mm-hmm.
At least one of those teams.
They'll make the playoffs.
Baker Bucks, I'm going to be honest. I definitely said the under. I definitely thought this team was going to be the worst team in the league.
The Bucks, really?
Yes, they felt like a tanking team without Brady. They just felt like, and I mean,
that's weird to think Brady played last year. I don't know why that feels like so long ago.
And I mean, come on, my last impression of Baker was him on the Rams. I mean, come on,
and the Panthers.
Come on. Alrighty, this was a fun one. The Bears, the line was 7.5. I said 8 or 9. You said no shot over 500. Perfect take. From a Bears fan, by the way.
Yeah.
Despite gassing up Fields and DJ Moore.
I just did not think. I thought the offense. The reason I said that. I mean, we're 6-9. 6-9 is not a bad record. All right, it's not good. It is not bad. The reason I said that, I did not think the defense was even close to being there yet. Obviously, the trade for Montez Sweat has done wonders for our team.
Absolutely.
The announcers are saying it today. The Tez effect. First time I heard it, I love it. The Tez effect. They were saying it.
Kind of rock with it.
They were saying it the whole. They were saying it the whole game. I did not think the defense was there yet, and so that's why I said that. I thought the offense would be a lot better. The offense has been shaky, but I believe I don't know if I said this on the pod. I said this to myself. I thought our record was going to be 7-10. I thought that's what our record was going to be. And I mean, we have the Falcons and the Packers. I think we could finish 8-9. We could.
How many of those games are home?
The Packers game is away. I don't know what the Falcons game is. The Packers game is away though.
Your Falcons game's home. Packers is away.
Hey man. Just hopefully we finish 8-9, but that means under 500. Yeah, I did not see us going over 500 though. No. So good take past Ryan.
Good take. I can't believe I gave the Bears 8 or 9 wins.
That's crazy.
I was so
That's crazy.
Actually, I think I said that I mentioned this somewhere, that Packers were easily going to be the worst team, and that was going to be Bears.
That's what a lot of people thought.
A Bears-Lions
Jordan Love
took
that step way before people thought he was going to, for sure.
Very nice. Broncos are 8-5. We said under. They're 7-8. I think that's a pretty good take. They are second in the AFC West. Not currently eliminated from the playoffs.
We said under 8.5.
Under 8.5.
And they're 7-8. Hey man,
7-8 with 2 games left.
I'll take it.
Those 2 games for the Broncos are against the Chargers and Raiders.
Okay, maybe they might win out. Okay, but they lost to the Patriots, so
those are divisional games, and I say this all the time. Divisional games are different. I mean, I watched the Cardinals put up 29 points on the 49ers.
I also watched the Steelers destroy and actually I will hype Zach up. Bengals-Steelers game right before it. I'm like, Jake Browning, Bengals are going to destroy the Steelers. And the Steelers put up, 34 points? So anything can happen in a divisional game.
After that
game... I'm looking at this AFC North division. All teams are over 500.
Actually gross.
That's wild.
I will say my worst take of the week is Ryan had George Pickens over-under for 44 yards, and I said, too risky. The Steelers' offense is not reliable, and George Pickens proceeded to hit on the second offensive play of the Steelers. No, screw that. First offensive play of the Steelers.
So I did not bet that. Mom, I hope you're not listening. I have lost 13 bets in a row.
And it's okay, mother. Please don't listen to this. I've definitely lost over $400 betting in my life.
I'm still up.
I'm not up.
Well, I mean, Christmas Day, we're throwing some cash. That's all I'm going to
Honestly,
say.
we might have to.
We're going to throw some cash.
We might have to. If I get to a point where I have a big following, we could do a Discord where the Discord picks out. I know
That'd be
Troy
tough.
does that. I know
That'd be
Troy
tough.
does
Yeah,
that.
all those big guys definitely do.
Alrighty, heading back to our favorite NFC North. The Packers over-under was 7.5.
I definitely said under.
Of course we said under.
Yeah.
We said last in the NFC North. And to be fair, they're at 7. They're at 7. The Bears
They
are a
could
game
still
behind.
finish last, but I mean,
Their last two games.
the Packers they've had good moments and they've had some rough moments.
Vikings and Bears. And let me just tell you something. The NFC North has currently split all games.
That's crazy.
So if you're a Vikings fan like me, you're definitely liking our odds for our last two games. And if you're a Bears fan,
You're liking your odds against the Packers.
Yeah. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, not a big Packers fan. I actually hate on the Packers.
We despise them as Vikings and Bears fans. Yes.
I don't know what it is, but like I'll hate.
How could you like them? I don't know.
Even when we play the Bears, I don't hate the Bears.
I don't hate
I
the
just
Vikings
kinda-
exactly, and I don't hate the Lions. But
I think
when I play the Packers, I actually want all their players to tear their ACLs.
I know some people don't want to root for the Lions. I actually won't mind rooting for them in the playoffs because I kind of feel like they represent the.
Yeah,
NFC
I won't
North.
either. But the thing is, like, I just know they're fraudulent. I know they're gonna lose.
Yeah.
I just know it.
I've seen that Saints game from like 3 weeks ago. You remember that?
Yeah.
That was bad. Alrighty, 3 teams left for the over-unders. Dolphins were at 9.5. We said over. We said 10 or 11 wins.
Yeah.
I mean, 11-4. I don't think anyone expected them to be this good. 7-1 at home.
Yeah.
I mean, let me just
I'm
tell
happy
you,
I said over though because
the best offense in the league. 463 points for. 314 points against. That's a plus 149 point differential.
that's a lot.
Now I will say 4-3 on the road. That's rough. They definitely are glad they're going to get that number 1 or 2 seed where they will be home no matter what. But yeah, over under at 9.5. I'm glad we hit that. Alrighty, back to the NFC for our second to last team. The Seahawks. Their over under was 8.5. We said under. We said an 8-9 or 9-8 season. They're currently sitting at 8 or 7.
They'll go 8.
So
they will not win out. They'll go 8 and
we've
they'll go 8 and
definitely
9 or
hit that.
9 and 8.
We've
Yeah,
definitely hit that.
that was a great take by us.
My take was give Drew Lock more touches.
And we saw what he did against the Eagles.
That's what I'm saying.
We saw what he did against the
Drew
Eagles.
Lock beat the Eagles.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how they play out. I mean, Seahawks are still hunting for a playoff bid. Those games will be against a Steelers and Cardinals team where Cardinals perform better in their division. And the Steelers, I mean, their defense is good. Who knows what will happen with the offense. All right, and our final team we talked about was the Jets. It's crazy to think their over-under was 9.5 to start the year, but that was Aaron Rodgers. We mentioned they would be the Broncos the last season. Had to have been one of your better takes, Ryan.
Did I say under?
We took the under for the Jets.
Wow.
I can't believe we...
I thought I would be like still, even though they're going to be a Broncos, I still think they'll go 10
And you even
7.
had a quote that said, you think something will happen. You said, I have a feeling something will happen to this team. I feel like...
I remember saying that.
I feel
dude.
like-
I put something into the universe. I'm
You
I'm
threw
telling
something
right now.
out there. God heard you or something. Jets 6-9 currently. They're a bad team. They're at minus. Trying to do some math. Do you know what 15 plus 69 is? Is that
84.
84? They have a minus 84 point differential. They play the Browns and Patriots to round out. I legit don't know if they'll win either of those games. Maybe the Patriots game. Sorry, Jets. That Bills game to kick off the year with the punt return, best moment of the season.
Yeah.
And you were the first team to beat the Eagles
They won that game against the Bills, right?
on the punt return to start the Monday Night Football
Yeah.
season. Yeah. Other than that, just nothing much from the Jets. Tough. But I find that fascinating. All of our takes from earlier on in the summer, and now we come back almost half a year later, and it's weird seeing how stuff has come to
So
fruition.
much has changed, man.
How
So
stuff has
much.
come to fruition. Do you have a pen and paper, perchance?
I definitely do.
You should get one. You should get one indeed, Ryan, as we are going to play a fun thing. I always do this with all my guests. Or at least the majority. Usually it's a guessing game. Usually it's a blind rank. And with you, I decided to do a blind rank. We did blind ranking rappers last time, which I very much enjoyed. I very much enjoy blind ranking rappers. Very much a rap connoisseur. Probably not as much as you. I'm sure you know more than I do when it comes to rap and such. But I'm pretty universal when it comes to music. I like the dad rock. I like the rock and roll, the rap. Country, I'm not a country hater, but it comes to a number of things. But on this episode, we're going to be having you blind rank fast food places.
I'm not fat, but I'm a big fast food guy.
But
I'm not fat.
This is hilarious. Ryan is one of 3 children, and I'm assuming it was the youngest one, Emma, who's in 7th grade, that wrote on their family calendar, Ryan is obese.
Yeah, she likes to call me fat, man.
Which Ryan Boniecki on Instagram, he's not obese.
Follow me, Ryan Boniecki, 2 I's, Boniecki.
Love it.
Wait,
Abs-
Boniecki.
Good enough. Plug your stuff. I plug all my stuff like every
Gotta
episode.
plug it.
But yes, we are going to be having you blind rank.
I love it.
10 places.
All right, let me number.
I do have 10 listed, but I'm going to try and just like throw them out at random order I give you them. Because with the rappers list, it ended up being pretty good.
Okay, see the thing, I'm a slightly picky eater, so like if perchance Panda Express is on this list, it's going 10 because I hate Panda Express. Like, all right, I'm gonna throw it out there right now. But other than that, like, I know ball. When I was younger, I ranked burgers. Like, I had a burger ranking.
Oh my gosh! I remember when we were in Key West, you were ranking burgers.
Yes, dude. All right, so I know burgers. I know chicken tenders, bro. I know all that. So let's get right. I'm excited.
Perfect. Let's do it. We have 10. I'm gonna give you your first one. Let's not start out too fancy. Let's go with a little Taco Bell. Taco Bell, definitely a late night craving type of food.
Fun fact, I have had Taco Bell once in my life, the night of my junior prom.
Incredible.
The only night I have had Taco Bell.
No shot.
So, like, I love, like, Mexican food. Like, if Chipotle's on this list, it's definitely top 3 for me. So I'm a big Mexican food guy, so I feel like Taco Bell, I mean, I'll put it. When I had it, it was pretty decent. I believe I had like a crunch wrap, maybe like a quesadilla. So I'll go, but again, I've only had it once, so I got to go like 8. I'll go 8
for Taco Bell. I find that hilarious.
I've only had it once, yeah.
I find it hilarious you're calling it Mexican food because I mean I go to any Mexican restaurant, the tacos I get there, the tacos I get at Taco Bell are so different.
It's definitely an Americanized.
And I'm not a smoker. Because I know, like, a lot of people associate Taco Bell with, like, late night going to smoke.
Yeah.
But when I've, like, had a couple drinks, you got the one sober cab. Where do you guys want to go? Taco Bell is a great stop.
It's always open. I mean, it
always
is.
open.
Live mas.
I freaking love it. All right. Coming in next, I'm going to hit you with Dairy Queen.
Ooh.
Dairy Queen.
See, the thing is, I don't have that many Dairy Queen, like, Dairy Queens around me are just ice cream. But the times, I know there is what's it called? What's like the Dairy Queen that serves food? And there's like
Grill and Chill.
It's a Dairy Queen.
Yes.
There's one by your house.
There is a Grill and Chill by my house.
The couple times I've had it, it's been pretty good. But again, limited amount of times. I'll go 7. Which doesn't mean it's bad, but again, I haven't had it that much, but they got some good food, and I mean, the ice cream there is phenomenal.
I will say, I do rock with their chicken. I'll say I accept their chicken tenders.
I'll accept it.
I don't want to say rock. Personally, I mean, where the Blizzards are just the make or break of Dairy Queen. Good ice cream. I had their ice cream cone not too long ago. But let's say there's other options. I don't know if I'm choosing a Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
Over everything else. Alrighty, let's fire off something that might be at the top of your list. Let's say a little Chick-fil-A.
Ooh.
Chick-fil-A.
Ooh.
I know.
I'm not going to say like gourmet fast food, but it's up there.
I would say yes. When you think of gourmet fast food, you debate it.
I'm a big chicken sandwich guy. Waffle fries are amazing. See, I don't know what else is gonna be on this list. I'll go. It's in my top 3. I'll go 3. I'll go 3.
Okay.
There's some places. Again, some people might not know what this one place I'm thinking of is the number 1 fast food place for me. I'll say it at the end.
Okay.
So I'm gonna save my number 1 spot for that for a while.
Okay.
But I'll go Chick-fil-A 3 for sure. Like Chick-fil-A 3.
Okay, perfect. My question is, do you like spicy or regular?
I'm a regular guy. I'm not
Really?
a big spice guy. Yeah, I'm a regular guy.
I'm the
Exactly. I
opposite.
said it to you. I'm a plain picky guy. Plain chicken or just a regular chicken sandwich. I get 2 sandwiches.
Oh my gosh, so do
I have
I.
not I have not because there's no Chick-fil-A on campus. So actually,
that's an L.
Now that you say that, I'm craving Chick-fil-A. Like seriously.
I wish we could go tomorrow, but
Yeah, we
Christmas Day. Actually, when you guys listen to this on Christmas Day, we cannot, sadly, as we're recording this late. But
and it's closed on Sundays.
I will say the double chicken sandwich move
with a
is the
with a
move.
large waffle fry, lemonade.
See, I'm
That
more-
was my go-to senior year of high school.
I like
without
the
doubt.
large fry. I usually just do water because I don't want to get too full off of it.
Yeah.
But I will say, the 2 sandwiches, I often by the halfway through the second one, I go, I'm kind of getting full.
I just persevere.
But
gotta
one's
persevere.
just too little. I feel like once you have been to Chick-fil-A a number of times, one is just too little. Chick-fil-A coming in at number 3 for you, Ryan. Let's keep moving along. Let me throw in this one at you. I'm gonna throw Popeyes at you.
Ooh, I do like Popeyes.
Similar to Chick-fil-A, the sandwich is
Who remembers the
debated.
Popeyes chicken sandwich frenzy when they came out with that chicken
I
sandwich?
recall that.
And everyone was going insane for it. I'm not gonna lie, I don't have Popeyes that much, but they probably have one of the best fries in the fast food game.
Really?
They have some insane fries. Popeyes, I'm gonna go 5, 5 or 6.
Debate.
I'll go 6.
Six
Just
for
because I don't
Popeyes.
have it that often.
I get that.
But not as good as Chick-fil-A in my opinion. But if someone was gonna say oh, I'm getting Popeyes, I'm saying bet. I'm getting a chicken sandwich. I'm gonna get some either drumsticks or chicken tenders, some fries, a biscuit or 2. I'm set.
No, that's relatable. I've had it twice. One time, me and my one friend got a bucket or basket,
Ooh.
and we didn't think it was bone in. We had no idea what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
So we get this, and it's all bone in, and we're like, oh, we did not get as much meat as we thought. And it was just kind of mid. And we go back a second time, and I get the sandwich because I'm like, okay, I got to debate the sandwich. And I did not like the fact that there was sauce on it. I liked
Oh.
how for Chick-fil-A,
Yeah.
there's not a sauce.
I didn't know sauce originally came on it.
I think it did. Maybe I got something
Maybe
else.
I just
but
screwed you over, man. I don't
you know what? And then oddly, one random memory is my one buddy had me listen to an entire Kendrick Lamar album in the parking lot as well. I find it funny. I mentioned this on last podcast. Do you ever just remember things when you start thinking of other things?
Yeah, it just clicks.
I just find that fascinating. Popeyes coming at you for number 6. Let's hit you with Raising Cane's.
Oh,
I'm personally a Raising Cane's connoisseur. I love Raising Cane's.
two. Oh,
That was a great take. I like that take.
I'm shaking because if I were to,
I'm gonna be
Cane's
honest.
for my friend group and honestly, anyone from around my area, and honestly, I feel like a lot of people around my area, that's the spot.
Really?
Cane's is.
Oh my
You
gosh.
walk into Cane's, you're gonna see someone you know. That's what Cane's is like.
I was hesitant to put it on this list because
No. It's more of a Midwest thing.
okay, I didn't know if it was just a Minnesota thing or if it was in the full Midwest.
It's a Midwest thing. So
Okay.
people outside the Midwest won't know because you got Zaxby's down south and stuff like that.
Yes, because I was looking at places. I'm like,
Let me write it down too. But yeah, Cane's.
I respect that so
But,
much.
okay, I feel like it also has a little bias just because not only it's good food, the cane sauce, the Texas.
Fries are even good.
Pause.
Fries are even-
The fries, the tenders, and the Texas toast is
Oh,
god
big
tier.
Texas
Let me
toast,
tell
yeah.
you, god tier. I gotta talk close into the mic. It is insane. But also for me, with my Canes, it's 12 minutes from my house. That's where people go to hang out. You're all right, either before you hang out, you're let's go get Canes and then go hang out, or
Good sitting
I'm not gonna
environment.
lie, like I was probably there twice a week over the summer, like without a doubt. So it's got some bias there. Like that's where you see your boys, that's where you see all the people you know and stuff like that. On top of that, great food. Number 2 for me, like easy.
My girlfriend, she goes to the University of Minnesota, and they have one open basically on campus
Oh.
until 3 in the morning.
Oh my! If that
And
would,
it's discounting for college students.
I would actually gain 1,000 pounds.
I'm pretty sure every time I've been there, I visited, I get it.
Oh my god!
So
I'm going there now.
All right, let me hit you with one, because, obviously when I think about your blind rank, I take into account there might be some lower ones. I can't give you all heaters.
Yeah.
Subway.
See, I don't dislike Subway. Again, I told you I'm more of a picky guy, so I'm not. When it comes to subs, I'm a hot sub guy. I'm a Philly cheesesteak.
Yes.
I'm a meatball sub. So like Jersey Mike's, oh my, I'm in love with Jersey Mike's. But Jimmy John's doesn't do hot subs, so
Nope.
I do not like Jimmy John's. Subway does both. Subway is like the Don's of the sub places. So I don't really eat it that often, but when I do, like I'll get one of their hot subs, or I'll get like their like Italian if like I'm just like hungry. I'll go 10. I'll just go 10 with Subway. Because when I do get their subs, it's not like it's like, oh, that's good. It's just because like, oh, I was hungry, it's cheap, and it will fulfill me.
So I used to get the roast beef at Subway, and they took away roast beef
Wow.
from Subway. And every time I went to Subway, I was looking for that Portillo's roast beef. Portillo's isn't on here, but for the Portillo's roast beef, and I just wasn't finding that Subway.
Okay,
So then
pause.
yes?
Pause. I was saving my number 1 spot for Portillo's. Because if you're from Illinois, you know Portillo's is the number 1
Oh my gosh.
fast food. Insane. But there is 1 or 2 places that I'll put at number 1, but Portillo's insane. But yeah, I understand.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
I didn't put Portillo's because
It's just in. I mean, it is in some other. It's starting to expand. It is some other, but Portillo's, like if you're from Illinois, you know Portillo's.
I
is
figured
the
it was
spot.
too easy. I have one of my buddies. Got him hooked on Portillo's. I mean, it is.
You can get anything on the menu. It's.
I mean,
it's
I
one
was
of those
talking
places.
to Emma, my cousin, your sister, Ryan.
Yeah.
She said she gets pasta from there. And I was like,
Yeah,
pasta?
my sister, the
I've-
pickiest eater of all time.
I was like, a pasta? I mean, even hot dogs. I mean, you can get. They have a cake shake, which will catch you off guard.
Chocolate cake
That'll
shake.
catch you off guard.
You'll
Even
gain
the
a
cake in
million
general.
pounds if you drink that.
Yeah, I should put Portillo's on here, but now this kind of spices it up a bit.
Oh, yeah,
I kind
yeah.
of like it. We still got the 1, 4, 5, and 9 spot open for you.
Yes.
Alrighty, hitting you next, Panera.
Oh, perfect 9 spot.
what I
Perfect 9
figured.
spot. Perfect. I'm not. I like. Oh, I would. Again, I kind of like it over Taco Bell and Dairy Queen, but I feel like Dairy Queen, Taco Bell, and Panera Bread are all pretty much like the same for me. I don't get Panera that often.
No, what do you get there?
The grilled cheese.
Okay.
They got good grilled cheese. And their soup. They got good chicken noodle, and there's like another like basic soup that I like get
Yes.
there. Like I said, I don't get it that often. And it's just kind of like there, I mean, it's a little bit more
Yeah.
expensive, so like I don't really like to go there that often, but I mean, I like to be a little bit more healthy. It's got a nice vibe in there. I do like the vibe.
I
of
agree. It
Panera.
is. I remember my mom used to mention like grandma, like Panera.
Yeah.
I know. I just feel like that is like a typical mom.
Definitely,
grandma
and
shop.
it's just simple, So like, I'd probably say I get it like 4 to 5 times a year. Just like if there's nothing around, I'll be like, oh, I'll go to Panera. They do have a decent grilled cheese.
I had it for the first time my last week of college.
Yeah.
And I am myself a picky eater. I want you to guess what I got.
What'd you get?
I got pepperoni flatbread, which is basically a pizza.
Oh, they do have flatbreads. I've got a flatbread from there
And
before.
I was
It's not that bad, yeah.
And I was judged by 2 of my friends. This one chick I know, she was just like, "Why are you ordering a pizza at Panera?" And I was like, "I'm not gonna order a salad. What do you want from me?"
Yeah.
But,
It's a goofy place, but not bad at all. But
a place you can
it fits in
branch
well
out
at the
at.
9 on my list for sure.
That's perfect. We got 3 spots left.
I'm liking my list. I feel like you're gonna
And-
throw some heaters at me.
This is, we'll see, because I at the same time, like, as much as I know you, I don't know your fast food opinions.
Yes, true.
Because after
true.
the last list, I obviously know your rap opinions,
Mm-hmm.
better opinions. So I'm gonna hit you with right now McDonald's. McDonald's either is going to go in your 1, 4, or 5 spot. And this is interesting as we have 2 more left.
Okay. You see, Don's is Don's.
We
call it Don's. We call it Don's where I'm from.
We call it Don's where I'm from.
Yeah, we call it, okay. I mean, that's just, I can't tell you how many times I've had a McDelivery at 3 a.m.
It's so clutch. That's our
20 chicken I am a chicken. If there was like, I would be the Joey Chestnut of a chicken McNugget eating contest.
We become more similar every time I meet you. I love chicken McNuggets.
How fast I down them is like frightening. Like,
why?
I vacuum.
You don't savor them?
I don't chew them. I think I just inhale. I think Don's got to go in the 1. Don's in the 1.
McDonald's
just because that's like the Michael Jordan of. That's the Michael Jordan of fast food places, and literally I get like anything there, and I mean you can never go. Obviously, like it isn't like a Chick-fil-A or Cane's where it's like, hey, let's go to Cane's, let's go to Chick.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, if you tell someone let's go to Don's, they're like, okay, bro, like you're kind of weird. But like you can never go wrong with Don's. 3 a.m. You're so hungry, you're so tired, you just need some food. McDelivery. You're driving home from someone's house, nothing's open, Don's is open. Don's is always there. Don's is that one girl you never pay attention to, and she's there all the time. You take her for granted. Me? No, I'm not taking her for granted.
You coast through high school, and then
exactly.
once college hits, you're like, she's hot.
Exactly.
When did that happen?
But I'm appreciating her now. I'm appreciating Don's now. Don's at the 1. I feel like the number 1, like what I said, you can't go wrong with it.
All right, and let's say
can't go
you
wrong.
got 5 boys at your house.
Yeah.
Someone says, I want Don's. 2 other people say yes. All right. Someone says, I'll drive you. I don't want anything. Another passenger's like, I don't want it. You get there, they're gonna order something. Everyone orders something.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
I would even say, you can move taste, quality aside. It's even the memories you make.
Those chicken
going to
McNuggets,
McDonald's.
dude. Oh, they're legendary.
Alrighty, just to be diabolical, the next one I was going to say was Chipotle.
Oh, okay. Honestly, Chipotle at my...
I'm going to be honest.
Chipotle, it's going at the 4. I'm writing it down right now.
That's not as bad as I thought
it would be. Love Chipotle. It's one of the fast food places on my campus, so I get it much more often than I used to. I used to probably get it twice a month, whereas now I get it probably once every 10 days. Honestly, no, it kind of fits perfect at the 4. I would not want it at the 1 because like I would prefer Cane's and Chick over it. But I mean, it's like I said, I love Mexican food. And like I said, you can't ever really go wrong with Chipotle.
No. Do you ever deviate from a set order? Or do you have a set order?
I do my set order. White rice, double steak, cheese, lettuce. Like I said, I'm a simple guy. But sometimes when I do order online, I do the quesadilla. Because order online with the quesadilla, you get the special quesadilla. You get some chicken in that. Because while I get steak in my bowl, I'm a big chicken quesadilla fan. So, I love Chipotle, and Chipotle at my 4, it fits well for sure.
It fits pretty well. Yeah. You want to hear your number 5?
What is it?
Your number 5 is Culver's.
That's perfect.
That fits you.
Because that's that fits.
Staple of the Midwest.
I'm not gonna lie. This is actually like if you were to give me these 10 restaurants, this is how I'd rank them.
All right.
I'd literally in order.
Let's read the list. Read the list.
Number 1, Don's. Like I said, you can never go wrong with Don's. Yeah. 2, Cane's. For me, the taste and the environment aspect. 3, Chick-fil-A. Gourmet fast food. Gotta love Chick-fil-A. 4, Chipotle. Again, it varies from your average fast food because it's Mexican food, but it's good Mexican food.
I agree.
It is. Besides their weird Ebola outbreak 5 years ago.
No Mexican restaurants do like bowls. No
exactly.
restaurants do in a bowl.
And I love their I love their 5 Culver's. If you're from the Midwest, like can't go wrong with Culver's. Again, Culver's for me, it's Cane's or Culver's. Like people go to Culver's to like hang out and stuff like that.
I agree. It's a good sitting spot with your boys.
And I'm not gonna say it's like gourmet, but like when you go to the Midwest, like there's always people sitting. It is a kind of a restaurant aspect to it.
Okay, compare a burger you get from Culver's to
they have good
not
burgers.
To hate McDonald's, but
they have a better
show
burger.
How the burgers look or quality of them.
Culver's fries. Personally, I love the crinkle cut fries.
They're good.
Right? They're good.
I like a ketchup.
6 Popeyes. good. If I were to have Popeyes more, I'd probably put it in front of Culver's, but I don't have it as often. I'd be getting Culver's more. So Popeyes 6, Dairy Queen 7, Taco Bell 8, Panera Bread 9, Subway 10. If you seriously like, I would not change anything from this list. Like, I think the rapper tier list, I was like, oh, I changed like this or this. If you were to give me these 10 restaurants and you're like, rank them, Ryan, this is how I'd rank them.
Wow, an ideal list on this. And
on a blind rank, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I find it crazy is I wrote them all out and I gave them to you in a random order.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I find that fascinating. I'll have to find something next time around, but I mean, as for now, fast food worked out pretty good.
That's a good blind rank tier list to give.
Absolutely perfect. And
made me really think.
What makes this worse is now I want fast food. And it's like,
I'm actually craving Chick-fil-A. Like, even though I'm craving Chick-fil-A. I have not had it in a minute.
I don't think anything's open, sadly. Nothing to DoorDash or Uber.
McDelivery is always open.
Oh, you got me kidding. We might need a McDelivery. I'm not gonna lie. Alrighty, that's gonna end our blind rank. We have 2 more categories to round out the podcast. Of course, it's the Surprise Jab podcast. I mean, I mentioned in my intro, hit you with a jab at UFC. I mean, we gotta mention some little UFC on the podcast, of course. And obviously, we've been doing our series last 3 weeks of ranking UFC stuff. But we're actually gonna do our end of the year UFC awards from the Surprise Jab podcast. So we have, I believe, 11 categories. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11 categories for the year, a number of them. And I'm going to be giving you my awards out for all of them. So kicking off our end of the year UFC awards from the Surprise Jab podcast, we have debut fighter of the year. Do you have I know you're not as big of a UFC guy as me,
but yeah, I watched the last big card.
You've watched a couple this year, a minimum 2. If you've watched the last one, that's been 3.
Oh, I've watched all of them.
Pay-per-view and such.
Yeah. Well, no, I haven't watched any of the fight, but I've watched all of the pay-per-views. Yeah.
Perfect.
This guy right here put me on UFC. I bought the last fight. I had all my buddies over and we watched it.
So did I.
Yeah. It's fun stuff.
We talked about 296. It was an interesting main event. Do you have a debut fighter of the year? Anything come to mind? Anyone come to mind?
New fighter, like
this was his first year in the UFC.
Well, the only guy that comes to mind, also I bet on him, Boniecki. I don't know if that's like the right move, but I mean, the fights I've seen him in, bro's been dominant. But again, he hasn't fought anyone like for real. And I bet you the guy Zach says, I'll know. And I'll be like, oh my God, like, yeah, that's him. But yeah, he didn't come to mind.
Yeah, you said him. It's Boniecki.
Oh, okay.
And
see, I know ball.
It was hard to. There was a couple guys on here, but the reason Boniecki makes this is 2-0. I mean, this guy had been a wrestler at Penn State, legend.
That's a place to wrestle.
2 UFC fights, both round 1 finishes. I mean, last podcast for UFC 290 where we gave our predictions, you said hammer that Boniecki under fight time. He knocked out Val Woodburn in 47 seconds.
Knocked him out, too. Didn't even KO.
He knocked him out.
Didn't even submit him, I mean.
No, and his first fight, we watched at UFC 285, not as entertaining, just took Jamie Pickett down, submitted him.
Yeah.
And, but you can't get any better than that. And he's slated to open up UFC 300 coming in April.
I saw that he's on the card.
I mean, just a perfect debut for Boniecki. A couple of people I'd give sort of at least one fighter, Ikram El-Kasarov. He debuted this year, 2 round 1 knockouts for him. Excellent debut, but didn't fight too high of talent. I'm sure there'd be a number of guys, but Boniecki just stands out, especially since he opened up 2 main cards. So he already has the exposure. Boniecki, my debut fighter of the year. Comeback fighter of the year, and this in terms goes to someone like, let's say, Geno Smith of the NFL, who had a terrible year and came back last season and balled out. I got Tom Aspinall. So Tom Aspinall,
what is he? Is he the interim?
Tom Aspinall is currently your interim heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
Tom Aspinall last year at UFC London in 2022 in the summer tore his ACL against Curtis Blades when he just threw a kick and tore it.
That's crazy.
Took a whole year back, came back in July of this year, KO'd Marcin Tybura in 1 minute and 13 seconds. Incredible return. And in November, KO'd Sergey Pavlovich in 1 minute, who had previously KO'd his last 6 opponents in round 1. So, Tom Aspinall, crazy turnaround. Terry your ACL in 2022.
I saw he was talking crap to John Jones.
He's trying to set that fight up
Yeah.
big time. And have you heard what he said to that one female UFC reporter? He was
What'd he
talking
say?
about,
I
have
don't
you ever
know.
been fingered by a UFC fighter?
Wow.
He said that.
He said that.
In like a live interview. And she goes, what are you talking about? He's like, fingered by a UFC fighter. Tom's like that.
My jaw has dropped to the floor.
Tom Aspinall is like that. Tom, I don't know how you're like outside of the ring, but in the
Sound like a creepy dude. I
in
won't
the
lie.
octagon, you did pretty decent this year. You earned my comeback fighter of the year. Shocker of the year. This was a tough one. Could you think of a shocker of the year?
I just want, like
the hand raised.
I just want to butt it. Like, does that mean like a certain like moment or like just a fighter in general?
So
honestly, I don't think it matters.
So I say everyone was doing upset of the year. ESPN,
Okay.
Full Violence,
Okay.
Verdict. They were all doing that. So I did shock of the year. So I'll say a moment that literally made your jaw drop.
Leon Edwards, Kamaru Usman, my jaw. Wait,
That was 2022.
that was 2022. Oh,
That was
that's insane. No way that was like 2022.
that was
That's
over a year and a
that
half
is-
ago.
That is insane to me.
Yeah.
Oh my god. As soon as I said that, I'm like, wait, that was that last spring? Like,
August of 2022.
that's insane.
UFC 278.
All right, never mind. My hand as still that again. That's crazy. Like,
That's
time
probably the
flies.
biggest upset, shock, comeback of all time. If I'm being
Yeah.
honest, Leon was down.
Okay, then I'll say this just from personal opinion. I thought Sean O'Malley was just all personality, all
Valid.
just kind of like, I thought he was kind of like your classic, like, again, Conor McGregor was dominant for so much time, but I thought he was kind of just trying to be like Conor McGregor. That's how you get people to pay for interviews, guys like Sean O'Malley. So when he fought I loved Aljamain Sterling. I rode with him all throughout the Jan controversy, and then he beat Jan. And I'm like, I told you Sterling's that guy. And then he KO'd Sterling. That for me, that was this year, right? That was not 2022.
No, I mean-
Okay. That was 2023.
That was
correct?
2023.
That was a
August.
shock to me. Seeing O'Malley as champion, that's like, especially like I see this dude's Snapchat stories and stuff like that. Like this
Wild.
dude's a goofball. For me, that was pretty much like shock of the year. Like,
I love that. I remember I was
or the Izzy Peoria fight. I mean, I pretty much thought like Peoria was.
We're actually gonna get to that fight
Yeah.
in a minute. But that Sean O'Malley fight, I'm at my girlfriend's house, and I watched round one. Round one's boring.
Yeah.
Nothing happens. So I was on the edge of my seat. I leaned back. All right, not even a minute into the fight, O'Malley hits him with the right, drops him. I'm going nuts.
Hammer fists him
I'm
on
literally
the
just like, oh
ground,
my
yeah.
gosh, ref stops it. I'm like, he's legit. But back to what mine was. UFC 291 in July. Justin Gaethje KOing Dustin Poirier with a head kick. Did you ever?
Basically, it was the equivalent. People were calling it the Leon Edwards to like.
That's
Kamaru
what I
Usman,
would
yeah.
say. And I mean, round
Yeah.
2 came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And the reason it is my shock of the year is because they had such a great round 1. Dustin Poirier had won the first contest. And it was one of those knockouts where it just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And Dustin Poirier goes limp, falls down. Herb Dean dives in. I mean, it had me. My jaw was dropped.
Yeah. That
I
was
literally-
for the. It was like what's like the.
the BMF,
yeah,
the
yeah.
baddest mother effer. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a funny belt, but I mean, Justin
I
Gaethje
remember it
is.
was like for that. Yeah.
It was absolutely crazy. I
That was pretty
absolutely
crazy
loved it.
too.
That was my shock of the year. But obviously, when it comes to upset of the year, it's pretty unanimous that the upset was Sean Strickland over Israel Adesanya. I'm gonna mention him in a bit, but the only reason that we're not gonna mention that fight is because it was a boring fight. It was just that he upset him.
Yeah.
Remember, I watched it at a party, and I was on my phone. Like, I'm at this girl's house I know, her birthday party, her, 21st. There's hundreds of people there, and I'm just sitting at a counter on my phone, and I got, 20 dudes crowded around me watching it. And they're like, and I've seen these guys around in public, and they go, yo, you're the UFC guy. I'm like, I guess better than being some other type of guy, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty crazy. It's weird to see him as champion now.
I
That's
know.
so good.
It's so weird.
When's he fighting? Is that the next?
Sean Strickland?
Is that 290?
Yes, Sean
is that 297 or
Strickland.
298?
Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis for the middleweight championship at UFC 297 in January 20th at Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
I'll be there.
Alrighty, moving on next to our event of the year. Our event of the year. Do you have a guess? You have a guess?
Oh, I'm so bad.
You should really guess.
I'm so bad with the numbers. Give me 296 to what was like the first event of the year?
296 to 283. There were 14 pay-per-views in 2023.
I'm so bad with the numbers. I'll go.
Take a guess.
287.
287, Adesanya versus Pereira. Pretty good, but it was 290, the one we watched together in July. UFC 290. I mean, do you recall that? Volkanovski versus Rodriguez. Let me pull up the card for you.
I remember that. Oh, I thought they went to decision.
No, so basically, let me take it through this card. Volkanovski versus Ayer was the main event. Volk destroyed him through 3 rounds. TKO'd him in the third. Alexander Pantoja versus Brandon Moreno put on an incredible war.
Pantoja won.
Fight of the night.
I remember, yeah.
Dricus du Plessis KO'd Robert Whittaker.
That was
in the second
crazy.
round. Dan Hooker and Jalen Turner went to war. No idea how either guy was KO'd out. Of course, we mentioned Bo Nickel KO'ing. Robbie Lawler in his final career UFC event KO'd Nico Price in 38
this card
seconds.
was stacked.
You had Tetsu Taira, another Fighter of the Year nominee, or Debut of the Year nominee, Japanese fighter, winning his fight. Denise Gomez KOing the undefeated Jasmine Jaraguia in 20 seconds. Alonzo Menefield gained his revenge on Jimmy Crute. Undefeated Vitor Petrino winning. Cameron Saman winning. I mean, you even had Jesus Aguilera KOing Shannon Ross in 17 seconds. But, I mean, an amazing prelims, an amazing main card. UFC 290. And plus, I remember watching it with you, Parker, and Kevin. And I'll say this, an environment can really help make a fight.
100%.
An environment can help make a fight.
We were just placing stupid bets. That's all. I just
Absolutely.
remember Parker placing stupid bets.
Yeah. Gosh, I don't see a world where I have Parker on this podcast, but if I do, we're not having to mention bets.
No.
We'll bring this actually into a huge one, our fight of the year, or fight of the year. Do you have any fights that come to mind of this year?
Again, I can't ever really tell the difference between 2022 and 2023. Okay. Me personally, probably like the average UFC fan won't agree. This isn't my fight of the year. I loved the Leon Edwards Colby Covington fight. I don't know why. Like I loved it so much. I honestly couldn't tell you why, because I know it was a boring fight. I know Leon Edwards destroyed this dude, and Colby Covington has like CTE. He's like, I won the fight, and he did not win the fight. But the thing, I hate Colby Covington so much. Like I despise him.
Yeah.
The Sean Strickland Izzy fight. That fight was, I feel like, up there for me, just because like. You would never that is such an underdog story. Like people, that was one of those fights. That was like an Izzy Jared Cannonier, or however you pronounce his name.
Izzy versus Jared Cannonier.
I feel like that was one of those fights where it's just like, oh, some dude who just happens to be high up in their rankings is gonna fight the champion, but has no shot, and then bro beats him is wild to me. But I feel like for me personally, it's the Izzy Peoria fight. And then the speech after, I feel like the whole thing for me, like that's what really did it for me. Like it was, I'm not a hardcore UFC guy, but I'm also not a casual. So like I know my stuff, but like that Izzy fight, like, cause Peoria was about to knock Izzy out. And then Izzy comes back and just destroys him.
All right. I'll give it to you. You know, you're not a casual, but I won't lie. Those are two of the most boring fights of the year: Izzy versus Sean and Colby.
I like those fights. I do. I like those scrappy ones.
I'll give it to you that you liked
dude.
them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but the thing is, I do watch a lot of fights. Mm-hmm. I've watched so many 5-rounders, so many 4-rounders. So my 3-round fights. My standards are probably a bit higher.
Yeah.
But I won't lie, if we're looking technically, Sean Strickland outboxed Izzy, Leon outboxed Edwards, or no, not Leon outboxed Colby. But that Izzy para fight we'll get to in a second. Mine was actually Brandon Moreno versus Alexander Pantoja in the co-main event of UFC 290.
Yeah.
And it's a popular one. I know a lot of people will list it. But, ladies and gentlemen, just absolutely insane. I mean, Alexander
His
Pantoja,
nickname's the Cannibal. That's insane.
the Assassin Baby versus the Cannibal. Alexander Pantoja dropped Brandon Moreno in round 1. He rallied. Brandon Moreno outstruck him. If you go back and rewatch this fight, I mean, this was one of the few fights where grappling wasn't boring. They were still going to war. It was bloody. They were swinging. You thought guys would get knocked out. And it comes down to a split decision. Some people thought Brandon won. Some people thought Pantoja won. It was so fun. And I do recall us watching it and screaming, being happy about it.
Yes.
And there's just something about that really makes a fight for me. So that's my fight of the year. It's interesting to hear your takes on things. I absolutely love it.
I definitely have a different perspective when it comes to UFC,
which is good.
fights.
I like different perspectives.
I just because I only watch the main card, the UFC 2, the ones with the numbers. And when I watch the ones with the numbers, I only watch the main cards. I don't really ever watch the prelims unless it's a guy like Robbie Lawler is gonna fight on them,
or if I'm here enforcing you.
Yeah, exactly. So then you're hyping it up for the championship fight, and especially I'm clearly rooting for one guy.
Yeah.
And then they're just kind of slowly winning throughout the fight. Because a part of me gets angry when someone gets KO'd in round 1 of the main fight. It's no, I don't
Oh my god.
There it goes. There goes the rest of the fight. So I unlike most people, I like the Leon Edwards Colby Covington fight.
You remember UFC 285? John Jones being Cyril Gane in 2 minutes.
Oh my! I was pissed.
We were just sitting there
I was pissed.
That's it.
And it looked so. You were there. It looked so easy.
We were oh
yeah.
Oh, that was it. I mean, the rest of the main card made up for it, but it was kind of Cyril Gane just did nothing, just got submitted.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so true though. Getting into our next one, our submission of the year. You probably haven't seen this fight. Can you think of any submissions at all from the year?
Well, I think of the John Jones one.
Okay. That was obviously
I think of I can't pronounce the dude who submitted Wonder Boy.
Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Jeff Neal? Or versus Wonder Boy Thompson?
He submitted both.
Remember the Jeff Neal? He's giving the old brother choke.
Oh, did he? That's basically, kind of what he gave Wonder Boy. No,
on the ground, yes.
But if you, will I know the submission of the year?
You will not know the one I list.
Okay.
So the one I have was actually from, I believe it was on the prelims, yes. It was on the prelims of UFC Fight Night, Vicente Luque versus Rafael dos Anjos, which happened at the UFC Apex. And it was Damon Blackshear versus Jose Johnson, 2 unranked bantamweights. And Damon Blackshear pulled off the 3rd ever Twister submission in UFC. Twister submission in UFC history. The only other 2 people to do it, the Korean Zombie and Bryce Mitchell.
What exactly does a Twister submission behold?
So a Twister submission is basically where you kind of twist their torso and you're basically going to be grasping their head, and as you twist it, you almost twist them where their spine starts to break in half. So you guys see what I'm doing right now?
Yeah.
They're literally it feels like your neck's going to break, your spine's going to break. And the reason it gets it for me is it was the 3rd ever. It was the fastest one ever in round 1, 3 minutes, 47 seconds in.
I need to see a clip of this after the pod.
Got a 50K. We'll show you the Damon Blackshear, Jose. Actually, why don't we just pull it up live?
Live reaction.
Sadly, we're not like Joe Rogan. We don't have filming, so I can't exactly.
You're just gonna get my live reaction.
Yeah. So here we are.
Is he on the bottom?
So Blackshear's in the black. He's getting punched right now, and he's setting it up. It's very tough to set up, by the way.
He's in the gray shorts.
He's in the gray. It's incredibly tough. So here's where it gets about to get locked in. As you can see, he starts to grab his head, twists the head, and begins to twist the body. The body.
Oh, did he not tap? It looked like he tapped.
He hasn't tapped yet, but as he begins to lock it in, once he gets it tight, he'll start to squeeze. And as you can see, the spines begin to twist, and his neck's begin to twist. You see that?
Oh, my God. Yeah,
I mean, That's pretty, yeah.
That's a weird position to be in, like just off rip. Like,
And it earns the
on a
nod
s-
for me. I mean,
100%.
third ever UFC history.
That's crazy.
And plus, people are choosing mainstream ones like John Jones, Alexa Grasso being Valentina Shevchenko. So
That's
I
right,
figured-
Grasso. Yeah, that's right.
So I figured, why not choose one that people aren't going to think of?
Exactly.
Which comes to my next one, our knockout of the year. This is a huge one. Knockouts have become so synonymous in the UFC. Can you predict what my knockout of the year is?
Well, is it like some I know there's some insane random prelim knockouts.
Random prelim knockouts a lot, but there have been two that were huge. Can you think of which two?
Was one of them a flying knee?
I
There was
won't
a crazy
So that was a
flying knee
prelim one. So that was
I saw it on
Ishmael
YouTube.
Ishmael Bonfim versus Terrence McKinney. Terrence is up on the cage, hits him with a flying knee.
Yeah.
Literally face plants dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Okay, well,
that was in the running but didn't earn it.
Like I told you guys, I'm pre-med. It was literally happened in the last card. The
Josh Emmett versus Bryce Mitchell.
Bryce
That was a lot of people's number one knockout.
that for me that's got to be the one. Because what happened with Bryce Mitchell, I mean that if you think of a KO, that's you fall. First of all, you fall forward. You don't fall backwards. You fall forward. That's insane. And he kind of had like if you guys know football, Tua Tagovailoa reaction. His body starts to kind of like spaz.
They
and
were saying
seize up.
seizure on live broadcast.
Yeah. That he messed up his brain for sure. I mean, so like medically speaking, that's the knockout of the year. Again, it wasn't that cool looking, but I mean, that dude got knocked out.
I mean,
he was out of it.
They call those the Shadow Realm KOs.
Yes,
I mean,
yeah.
And what made it even insane was that was like the first punch landed in the fight.
Yeah.
But absolutely insane.
That dude got KO'd.
That was a lot of people's KOs of the year. Mine, I got Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira.
That
Okay.
was a sick. That's
So
sick
for
one, dude.
starters, he puts him out cold. It's a knocked out cold KO. That was Israel Adesanya's fourth time fighting this dude twice in kickboxing, his rematch in
First time
MMA.
beating him.
In the main event, I mean, obviously Adesanya didn't end his year well, but I mean, knocking him out here, similar to how he almost knocked him out in the first fight.
Yeah.
I mean, the celebration, you had briefly mentioned that.
And the
I mean,
speech after.
absolutely incredible. Earns a $50K for the performance bonus. Incredible. I just had to give it my knockout of the year.
That's dope. Yeah, for sure.
And I remember because my girlfriend, we were watching at her house, and she was kind of cuddled up on me and stuff. And when it happened, I literally threw her off me. She got pissed at me for it. And I'm running around the room going, oh my gosh, that just happened.
He does it right back.
Arrow.
Oh my God,
Oh my
sick.
gosh. It had me so hyped. And it's hard to believe that's the same guy who lost 5 straight rounds to Sean Strickland. It's weird how it works
that
out.
guy, man.
It's weird how it works out. Alrighty, we got four more awards for you. Comeback fight of the year. Comeback of the year. So we had comeback fighter. This is the comeback fight.
Back fight.
All right, so Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman. That was the comeback fight. All right, Leon won at the buzzer. This one, very unknown. I had to dig into the vault.
Oh, wow.
Vault to find this one. I can always show you this fight just to give it to you, but for any hardcore UFC fans who know which fight I'm talking about, it happened at UFC San Antonio, March 25th. This fight went down on the prelims between CJ Vergara and Daniel Lacerda. So, two unranked guys. Not a lot of people are going to know about this, but Daniel Lacerda dropped CJ Vergara twice in round one, outstruck him 46-24, bloodied him into oblivion, just about finished him, and basically everyone thought the fight was over. And round two, CJ Vergara comes out absolutely insane, gets rocked again, and comes back and outstrikes him 74-5.
Wow.
In round two.
That's a lot.
TKOs him, elbows to the head on the ground. I might have to show you that fight. Ref stops it in the second round. It earns fight of the night honors. I mean, this is one of those hidden gems. CJ Vergara versus Daniel Lacerda at UFC Fight Night Vera versus Sanhagen.
15
it's
times
just-
punches is pretty wild.
It's just absolutely crazy. And, getting dropped once in a fight, you usually don't win. Mm-hmm. Getting dropped twice in a round,
Yeah.
that's absolutely insane. So, kudos to CJ Vergara for winning that. How did he end his year, actually? And he went 2-0 in 2023, so not too bad of a year for CJ Vergara. But an absolutely insane fight. Might have to check that out later on. 3 more awards. We'll start off with our Women's Fighter of the Year. Do you have any guess who my Women's Fighter?
For me, it's got to be Grasso.
Yep.
Just for obvious reasons.
Without a doubt. I mean, you said it. I mean, there's just no denying her. Upsets.
Yeah.
Valentina Shevchenko at UFC 285 wins it after being down 2 rounds to 1, losing that round. Submits
That was
her
a
in
crazy.
round 4.
That was you saw that. That was that.
We were here live.
That was
We
insane.
watched it
that
live.
was wild.
And then I'm actually like low-key a UFC nerd at heart. I left the party early. I left on another one of my friends' 21st birthday early to come back to my apartment and watch this main event between Valentina versus Alexa in the rematch, and just ends in a draw. It's controversial.
Like an actual draw.
An
I'm
actual
seeing it
draw.
right. Like it in
An
a
actual
championship
draw.
fight, you're gonna end it in a draw.
I mean,
so who's got the? Does she keep the chip then? or-
Alexa Grasso retains and beats Valentina Shevchenko, and the reason it ended in a draw. So basically, Valentina casually wins round 1. All right, Alexa wins round 2. Valentina wins round 3. Alexa wins round 4, but round 4 was close. Round 4 was close, and when it comes down to round 5, it was either 2-2 or 3-1 in favor of Valentina, and Alexa destroys her in round number 5, almost submits her. And it was a 10-9 round, but one judge scored it 10-8, which is pretty big. Like, 10-8 rounds aren't thrown out too often. And basically, it ended up being a draw because of that 10-8 scoring. Alexa retains, the only women's champion to fight twice in a year. I mean, Amanda Nunes retired after one fight, and Zhang Weili only had one other fight in the year. There
crazy.
was Erin Blanchfield, who started out outside of the top 10 and worked her way up to the number 2 spot in the women's flyweight rankings. But I chose Alexa because her 2 fights were championship fights. Good win for her for the Women's Fighter of the Year for me. 2 more. I have Champion of the Year. Do you have a Champion of the Year? If any comes to mind.
No, I gotta.
Yeah,
I got like 3.
3.
Okay,
3.
I got 3 in mind. Okay, I'm gonna. Oh no,
Who
I'm
would
not
be
gonna
your
go.
champion?
I'm deciding between Pantoja and Leon. I was gonna say Islam, but didn't Islam regain it this year?
No, Islam defended twice.
This year, he regained. Okay,
So
he regained it last year then, right?
He won it for the first time last year.
Okay, or not? Yeah, I meant to say that.
In October.
Because I was gonna say that because Islam fought Volk. Like you fight.
So let me just say.
Wait, was that 2022 too?
So I'll start mine out first. Yeah. Islam is my fighter of the year.
Okay.
He defended the belt twice against Volkanovski.
Yeah.
Had a fight of
okay, both the Volkanovski fights were this year.
Yes.
Okay, then he's my champ of the year.
Okay.
I didn't know if one was like, but I mean, you're beating Volk twice. That's pretty legit.
First off, we'll get to your 2 guys in a second.
Yeah.
First off, the reason I have Islam, has an absolute war, fight of the night, debated for fight of the year. Actually, I think on one of my list, it was my main event of the year. An absolute war against Volkanovski, such a competitive fight. People don't think he deserved it. Rematches him in October, KOs him in round 1 with a head kick.
Yeah.
That's just not what Islam does. Islam's a grappler. Knocks him out in round 1.
That was great. I watched it. I literally bought it. Waste of money to buy that because he KO'd him round 1.
Yeah, I actually watched it with a bunch of buddies that we bought. But yeah, absolutely deserves it. 2-0, 2 title defenses. Earned $100,000 just off of performance bonuses.
Good money.
In both those fights. But as for Leon, 2 title defenses against Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington.
And what, he's on a 12-fight win streak?
13 fight unbeaten streak. Technically a 4-fight win streak. But they're calling it basically he had a no contest.
Against Bilal, remember the name.
No, we're not.
Muhammad.
We don't get Bilal time on the podcast.
I don't.
I hate Bilal.
You know where he's
so
from,
much.
right?
He's from Chicago.
Chirac, baby.
So if there's ever a fight night here, are you going to watch Bilal main event it?
No.
You don't want to watch 5 rounds of Bilal?
No one's remembering that name.
But as for Pantoja, easily, won the belt over Moreno.
And he
and defended it.
Beat that,
Random
random schmuck, but beat him.
Very impressive for him. But yeah, I give it to Islam. 2 title defenses against
I'd have to agree.
Arguably one of the greatest featherweights, maybe even the greatest featherweight in Volkanovski, without a doubt. Which leads us and do my final award, my fighter of the year.
I feel like fighter of the year and champ of the year are also pretty much like...
They're pretty similar, but
Yeah.
my fighter of the year, I'm giving it to Sean Strickland. I'm giving it to Sean
Don't
Strickland.
blame you.
So if you didn't know, Sean Strickland started off the year not even in the top 10. He was actually outside of the top 10. He was like number 12 or 11. And he took a short notice fight against Nasruddin Imavov. Just after losing to Jared Cannonier, not even a month ago. Outschools Nasruddin, who was supposed to beat him. Like it was made for him to beat him. Outschools him for 5 rounds. Moves on. July. My first ever event I did on the podcast, first ever UFC event I covered, is given this unranked guy, Albus Magomedov, who had a 17-second KO in his debut, gets absolutely destroyed in round 1, comes back rounds 2, TKOs him, wins that, and then they give him Adesanya just to give Adesanya a pick-me-up fight. And he beats him. He upsets him. One of the biggest UFC upsets of all time. Especially being weird that it was, when Leon won, he won at the buzzer. He won with a minute left. Sean Strickland beat him for 5 rounds, and you were just watching it like, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe Sean Strickland...
He beat him up, let me tell you.
I can't believe Sean Strickland's just casually winning, and he did. He wins it, becomes champion, 3-0 in 2023, went from 0 to hero. Sean Strickland's my fighter of the year. I absolutely love him, but he is controversial. I don't know if I love his character, which
he's a goofball.
So I will say, Colby Covington puts on a character. Colby Covington is...
I think that's just Sean Strickland as a person.
Sean Strickland is as a person. I mean, he called his opponent the gay F word. Called him an F-A-G.
Driscus?
Yeah.
Because of, like, the weird, like, South Africa. He said his trainer, like...
And then...
does things to him in the back.
One of my most favorite things from Driscus, which is... I don't know if it's as... I think it might be worse than what Colby said about Leon's dad, is that Driscus said he was going to beat Sean worse than his dad used to beat him.
Yeah,
that is wild to say. Because Sean Strickland's dad actually abused him, which is...
I feel like Driscus is kind of a good dude, but he has to, like, say these things because I feel like he has to, like, match Sean Strickland's energy. But now I hate Driscus Duplessis. Like, I've weirdly fallen in love because Sean Strickland is just, like... He's himself. He is who he is. He doesn't really care what you think about him. And I'm like, I mess with that energy so much. And so now I want him to kill Driscus Duplessis, dude. I want him to destroy him.
We'll have to see how it all
Will that happen? I don't know, because, I mean, Driscus, he's good, but...
I don't know, but, yeah. Time will tell what occurs in that matchup. But, yeah, those are my end of the year NFL, UFC awards. I kind of like them. I kind of like all my awards. And I'm interested to hear other people's, like yours, takes on how your perspective of the year was, because it was a really fun year. And 2023 looks like it's going to be even. 2024, actually, I should say. Looks like it's going to be even better. This is a long episode, Ryan. I think we might break my record for longest podcast.
Hey, man.
It's currently 3 hours and 5 minutes, and we have one more segment, which could potentially take a while. We're going to talk about all the NFL games that went down in Week 16 so far. Give our Week 17, 18 thoughts, and what we think the playoffs is going to hold. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm always ready, baby.
I'm always ready. I need a response right there. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's get into it. Alrighty, Ryan. So we are just about, I'd say, 80% through Week 16 of the NFL season.
Yeah.
I mean, we got 3 games on Christmas. We'll mention them. I mean, on episode 51, I did talk about all the games, but I mean, we're here. Almost all of them are done. I usually review them on my own, but I got you here. So let's review all the games.
Let's rip it, baby.
That we've seen in Week 16 of the NFL playoffs. Kicking us off, we started off the week with the Rams and the Saints. A little Thursday night football action for you. Rams won 30-22. Your top fantasy performers from the game. Derek Carr, 24.96.
Garbage time points.
Chris Olave, 23.3. And Rashid Shaheed, 18.4. Puka Nacua having the best of the game. 33 fantasy points. Just crazy what we've seen from him all season. Matt Stafford, 20 bomb. And Demarcus Robinson.
He's been doing good for him lately.
Demarcus Robinson, 20 bomb from him.
Rams, one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now. I believe 5-1 in their last 6 games. They've been doing very well lately, and with Stafford healthy now, because he's been kind of unhealthy all season, I really do like this team. Defense is really coming together.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I didn't think their defense was going to be that good this year, and offense is still explosive, especially with the emergence of Puka Nacua. We haven't said it once on this podcast, and the emergence of Kyron Williams.
Oh my gosh!
I have him in both.
He's overshadowed sometimes.
He's a dog. He's a dog.
And what's weird, I'm pretty sure everyone picked him up on waivers week 2 or 3 no one drafted Kyron Williams.
Yeah, no one did.
Stats from the game: Derek Carr, 319 yards, 3 touchdowns at pick, isn't too bad. Kamara, 9 carries, 19 yards, only had 5 catches, 16 yards. He was on check. Olave, 9 catches, 123 yards. And Rashid Shaheed, 5 catches, 70 yards at touchdown. Juwan Johnson, 4 catches, 48 yards at touchdown.
Yeah.
Decent, but the Rams, Matt Stafford, 328, 2 tutties.
Mm-hmm.
Kyrene, another 104-yard rushing game, gets a touchdown. And this is insane. Only 4 passers caught passes from Stafford. Only 4 people caught touchdowns.
Wow.
Puka, 9 catches, 164 and a touchdown. DeMarcus, 6 catches, 82 yards a touchdown. Cup, 6 catches, 52. And Higbee, 3 catches, 30 yards. Not too bad, I'll say. But, Rams are 8-7. Okay, Rams are 8-7. They're currently in the hunt for the playoffs. I think they're currently 6th seed in the the playoffs. Yeah. They're currently the 6th seed, 8-7, second in the NFC West. They got a plus 25 point differential. Not too bad. What I've seen from the Rams. Next weekend, week 17, Rams will be doing battle with the Giants. Should be a win there.
Yeah, definitely.
I just think the Giants are a team that you want to play if you're going to play them. As for the Saints, an absolutely crushing blow as they lose the tie for the top of the NFC South. Of course, we'll mention the Buccaneers, currently the leaders. Saints are 7-8.
Still got a shot.
Somehow, they have a plus 34 point differential. Defense is yet to give up 300 points on the year. Not too bad. Saints are still they're in the hunt. They're in the hunt. 10th though in the hunt.
I see another team in the hunt.
Playoff probability is 11%. Yeah, we'll get to the Bears. Don't get ahead of yourself.
I see another team in the hunt.
By the way, the NFL, this is the official NFL site. They're listing on the bubble for these teams, and they're saying in the hunt for teams that are already going to be in the playoffs. So I think the NFL needs to fire their interns that are working.
They're tweaking.
That are working on their sites.
And why is that one so much longer than
the exact same thing? Okay, so that's what people who have clinched. So we have clinched. So first off, the Lions.
This is so confusing. Yeah,
the Lions have clinched. So
fire whoever's doing.
Because why does it say the Lions are 99% probability, but they're in the hunt, and then you got Vikings are at 31% on the bubble. A 31% team would be in the hunt. I have no words for it. As for the Saints, week 17, going to be a must-win game for them. They play the Bucs.
Ooh.
That is actually for the division, low-key. Yeah. The winner that wins the division.
Yeah.
But, no one really need to stick with that with this matchup. But Rams found their footing, been doing pretty good. They took a hit the other week, but, they've been playing well. Overall, won't win the division, but if they make the playoffs, not too bad of a team.
Exactly.
Not too bad of a team. We had 2 games on Saturday. We were able to catch both of them. First one was the Steelers beating the Bengals, 34-11.
Destroying the Bengals.
Gosh, we were preoccupied a bit. We were at a restaurant with arcade games, which was pretty fun.
It's pretty lit.
Some good food, good times. But, Bengals blow out the Steelers 34-11. Top fantasy performers, T. Higgins, 25 points. I really needed that. Thank you, T. Jake Browning, right? Jake. I was calling him Joe Browning.
Yeah.
For some reason. 13. Tyler Boyd, 10. But the Steelers, George Pickens, 35 bomb.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot.
Mason Rudolph had 20. I don't even get that. And Najee had 13. But, just Tail of the tape, I mean, Steelers went up big. I mean, at halftime, it was freaking 24 rip. I'm pretty sure. And then 24-7. Actually, it was 24-8. 31-8. And then, ended up just being typical ending of the game. But, wow. Playoff. This just mixes up the playoff race.
Yeah, it does. I mean, Steelers just doing Steeler things. They'll beat a team you think is good, and then they'll, like I said, 2 weeks ago, they lost to the Patriots. So, classic Steelers, man.
Honestly, I mean, their defense held the Bengals in check. Jake Browning, 335 yards. That's a lot of yards. 1 touchdown, 3 picks. Picked up 3 times.
That is a lot.
And held Joe Mixon to 43 yards. All right, T. Higgins for 5 catches and 104 yards, a touchdown. Only good thing for the Bengals. For the Steelers, I mean, it was a defensive game, but George Pickens, 4 catches, 195 yards, 2 touchdowns. That stat line's just ridiculous. I mean, Mason Rudolph, 209 yards and 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. Najee even had 78 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Good
day to be a Steelers
fan. Good stuff, yeah.
You.
My roommate is a dire Steelers fan, so he must be happy. But Steelers passed the Bengals. I mean, Steelers are now 3rd in the AFC North, 8-7. They, they do have a minus 34 point differential. That is pretty bad. Bengals have a minus 47 point differential, or no, minus 37 point differential. But both of those teams kind of in similar spots. Neither are in the playoffs now after this week.
Yeah.
Bengals currently 9th on the bubble. Playoff percentage at 24% according to the NFL. Steelers 17% at 10th. So even though they won, so did they split? No, didn't the Steelers beat them twice?
Oh, I don't even remember who won that first game.
I don't know, but should be interesting to see how they round out the season. Week 17, you'll be seeing the Steelers meet the Seahawks. Probably should be a.
Honestly, you never know. I mean, Seahawks barely beat the Titans today.
No.
That's gonna be a good game. That is gonna be a good game. Wow.
And then Bengals Chiefs with Joe Burrow.
Bengals,
and Jamar would be gas, but the Chiefs should win that.
Usually the Bengals like to pop off against the Chiefs in the regular season. But yeah, I'd have to favor the Chiefs on that one.
I completely agree. In our last Saturday game, we had the Bills and the Chargers, which was closer than a lot of people thought it would be.
Very much closer.
What happened in that game?
The guy sitting to my left decided to fall asleep during the good part of the game.
Okay, I had been out having Captain Cokes and Coors Lights. Okay, I was sleepy.
He decided to fall asleep during the good part of the game. That last 7 minutes of the fourth quarter. That was some good football being played.
Oh.
And I don't know, Chargers doing Chargers things and losing another close game. Are we surprised? Like that Brandon Staley meme. Are you surprised what happened? No, we aren't.
No, we aren't. I like that. I mean, your number one fantasy QB, Josh Allen, 24.98 points.
2 rushing touchdowns.
Gabe Davis.
Again, are we surprised? No.
Gabe Davis, 23 points, just occasionally wakes up.
Gabe Davis every 4 games pops off and then goes.
And next closest was 7.9 from Diggs. So I mean, it was Gabe and Allen.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it no, it's not Cameron Dicker. 21 fantasy points. Shout out to anyone who had him in fantasy.
A lot of field goals.
Shout out to anyone who had him in fantasy. That is absolutely impeccable. Easton Stick 17, Austin Eckler 11. Yeah. But yeah, there's at one point Cameron Dicker hit 3 fourth quarter field goals.
That's
wow.
Wild.
That's
one
actually
touchdown
insane.
that one touchdown that puts the game away.
Josh Allen 237 yards, touchdown a pick. Did have 15 rushing yards for 2 touchdowns. James Cook only 70 yards. But how about Leonard Fournette? 5 rushes, 20 yards.
Did you say Leonard Fournette?
I said Leonard Fournette used to play on the Bucks and
Forgot
Jaguars.
that brother was still in the league.
I actually love him.
I loved him on the
love
Jags. I loved him.
Gabe Davis, 4 catches, 103 yards, and a touchdown. That's all you got. Easton Stick, 215 yards. No touchdowns, no picks. Ran in a touchdown, though.
Oh.
Austin Eckler, 15 rushes, 65 yards. I guess Gerald Everett had 7 catches for 4 yards. Yeah, there's nothing pretty.
No.
With the Chargers, 5-10, 3-game losing streak, 2-6 at home. I'm sorry for everyone who had season tickets. And they have a...
If you're a Chargers fan, you're not real, though, let's be honest.
They have a minus 44-point differential. Yeah, it's one of those seasons you just go, what freaking happened? They play the Broncos next week. But after watching the Broncos tonight, I don't know if I consider that a win for the Broncos. So easy. Pretty embarrassing. As for the Bills, I mean, Bills are 9-6. By the way, 403 points for, 276 points against.
That's pretty crazy that they're 9-6 with that point differential.
Plus 127? 127 point differential? Plus 127,
Yeah.
right? I mean, the 3-game win streak. And Bills, by the way, are currently your number 6 seed in the playoffs. They jumped 3 spots with their win Saturday night.
Big win.
87% playoff
And
probability.
They also had some big losses, too.
Big losses. Bills will meet the Patriots next week. They did lose them, though. But it's felt like every team's splitting this year.
their chances, yeah.
Every team's splitting this year. Okay. Let's get into Sunday's games. Got a lot to talk about to round out this podcast. My goodness. I mean, let's kick it off. Amari Cooper and the Browns. 36-22 victory for the Browns over the Texans. I thought the Texans would win, but clearly the Browns
Joe
came to
Flacco's
play.
hot, man.
I mean, how many fantasy points did Amari Cooper have? Read it to the podcast.
51.5.
I mean, and that overshadows Joe Flacco's 24.82. I just mean, absolutely insane. I mean, what's this stat line from Amari Cooper, man? Insane.
11 receptions, 265 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That is more than your favorite wide receiver's season totals.
I just Amari Cooper.
That's a lot. That's a good amount, dude.
That's absolutely insane. Any other stat lines from those games?
Another touchdown for Njoku, man. I like David Njoku.
He had a good game last week. Oh, sorry, against the.
Well,
the
he
Bears.
had a good game 2 weeks ago. He had 2 touchdowns for like 100 yards.
Yeah.
I don't know. For some reason, Joe Flacco's been really excelling in that offense, and again, that defense keeps showing up because basically the Texans had 7 points going into like halfway through the fourth quarter, and then the Texans got 2 garbage time touchdowns. So
that kind of makes you think it was
Browns
closer
team is
than it was.
weirdly scary.
They weren't scary with Dorian Robinson, whatever, but they were scary with Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
Texans, I mean, Davis Mills, 149 yards and 2 touchdowns, came in after Case Keenum threw 62 yards and 2 picks.
Wow.
Singletary only ran for 44. Dameon Pierce only got 3 carries for 6 yards. Did return a 98-yard kickoff.
Yes.
Dalton Schultz, 8 catches, 61 yards. The only wide receiver we're going to give notableness to. How about the Browns? 10-5 currently. All right.
They've pretty much locked up a wild card spot.
Plus 34. 7-1 at home. 3-game win streak. That's pretty nice. Browns are the 5th seed in the playoffs. 99% playoff probability. How about that?
99?
Yeah.
Wow.
Texans 8-7, 3rd in the AFC South.
They're fighting.
Minus 3 point
They need
differential.
Stroud back. That's what they need.
Yeah, they do. They were in the playoffs, but are now dropped to the 8th spot currently in the AFC. 40% playoff probability. I don't know what we're gonna see from both of these teams. In week 17, of course, the new year week. We'll be seeing the Texans take on the Titans.
Those weird AFC South divisional games, though, you never know.
Probably will split.
Yeah.
And as for the Browns got a little matchup with the, if I can read my own typing, maybe I didn't put the Browns game in.
Yeah, the Browns.
Did I not put the Browns game on here?
No, you did not.
That's pretty
Wait,
interesting.
scroll up one. Maybe you.
So we have Packers.
That might be.
Did I repeat a team?
That might be the game above the Jets versus Packers.
I'm so confused. You know, everyone.
Go up one. Just keep. Oh no.
No, I must have forgot to put the Browns game on here.
Let's Let's click on there. Yeah.
Browns will play someone.
Technical difficulties.
That's all me. Wow, I'm gonna have to edit that. They play the Jets.
Dude, they're not the Packers.
So did I have the Packers playing twice on here? I did have the Packers playing twice on here. So wow, we're actually correcting my
Well,
picks.
I think that's an easy dub over the Jets.
Yeah, after Jets almost lost. We'll mention it in a second, but yeah, Jets play the Browns. Browns look to close out the year pretty nicely. Should be interesting to see how it all winds out. Fun times. Speak of the devil, Commanders and Jets. I mean, Jets
What an interesting game.
Jets win 30-28. I can't know how the Jets win anymore.
They were up 27-7 in the fourth quarter. 28, or I think it was like end of third quarter, 27-7.
Yeah, just about the end.
28-27, they're down. They kick a 54-yarder to win the game.
As time expires, you got it dead on.
Was it 54?
Yeah.
I know ball.
Chris Rodriguez Jr., running back, 19.5 points.
Who is that? Why is he scoring 2 touchdowns?
Logan Thomas at 14.6, but it's Breece Hall's 43.1 performance that'll overshadow everyone.
Yeah.
Sam Howell, 56 yards and 2 picks, gets benched for Jacoby Brissett. Comes in, throws 100 yards and a touchdown. Who cares about that? I mean, Trevor Siemian, 217 yards, touchdown and a pick for the Jets. But Breece Hall, 20 rushes, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Pull up his targets and receptions.
12 catches, 96 yards. That's wild.
I think it was 16 targets.
16 targets?
As a running back? Wild.
Breece Hall had, receiving. Yes, 16 targets.
That's insane.
You don't even hear about that.
That is wild.
Wow, that's a running back.
Yeah.
Breece Hall finally having a breakout game. Clutching up for fantasy performers around the league. Jets are 6-9. Minus, what's 69 plus 50? 80 like 3 years. 84.
69 plus what?
15.
84.
Minus 84 point differential.
Ugh.
Season's over. I'm sorry, Jets fans. Yeah. The loss of Aaron Rodgers sucked, but you know what? It'd be weird if they won 8 games. I just feel that 8 games and missed the playoffs.
6-9.
Oh no, Commanders trying to win the number 1 pick. Only 6-game losing streak, 4-11. They have a minus 144 point differential. 1-5 at home. That's really bad.
When you're playing at, what is it, FedEx Field? Yeah.
Yeah. And the fall-off of Sam Howell. I mean, he was the number 6 fantasy QB at one point.
Yeah.
Not anything since. They play the 49ers next week.
Commanders do?
Yeah.
Oh, those poor souls.
Should I slack in my pick right now? I might have to. As for the Jets, I think we mentioned they play the Browns. Honestly, they could win that. Honestly, they could win that.
Yeah.
Wow, we have a lot of games. Seahawks, Titans. Seahawks win 20-17.
Last second touchdown again.
Geno, 17.28 fantasy points. Derrick Henry, 21.3.
He threw a touchdown.
Yeah, actually, Derrick Henry had 12 yards on one pass.
Yeah.
For a touchdown. That's
wild world we're living.
All right, why don't you guess how many passing yards Ryan Tannehill had?
88.
Close. 152.
He was over 100 yards. Wow, it's
a rare occurrence. Yeah. Kenneth Walker, only 54 yards on 16 rushes. Tyler Lockett led the day, 8 catches, 81 yards. Actually, DK had 4 catches.
I was telling my dad earlier today, if the Titans were to disappear, I don't think I'd know. I think they're just one of those teams I just don't notice them. They're just kind of like
I wonder if
they just
fan
play
base.
they just play the 12 o'clock game slates, and you just oh look, they scored a touchdown, and then boom, that's it, and they lost. And what are they, 5-10?
Titans?
Are they 5-10?
I think it gotta be 5-10. There's just Titans are 5-10.
Yeah, man. I don't really know what their future is. Are they gonna stick with Levis? You have an old running back in Derrick Henry.
Don't stick with Tannehill, please.
I don't know. That team's in shambles.
DeAndre Hopkins got swindled by the money. That boy.
Yeah, he did.
That boy should not be in
Yeah.
Tennessee. Titans obviously eliminated from the playoffs. We'll be playing the Texans next week. That's a toss-up. That's definitely a toss-up. But bottom of the AFC South, which is still a competitive division. Seahawks 8-7 with a minus 32 point differential, 2-game win streak. I'm pretty sure are in the playoffs. Seahawks are in the playoffs, the number 7 seed, 69% playoff probability. That's what I'm talking about.
They're above the Rams, really?
No, they're not above the Rams. They're 1 game below.
Well, like in probability, they are. I meant
Probability. That's kind of weird, actually, that they'd be the 6th seed. If what happened there? If they I don't know. It's a very weird I don't know how the NFL does it. It's all about if you win your divisional games.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, some of these games, we just don't really look at. You just look at the stats.
Yeah,
see
exactly.
See who won, see who lost. But yeah. Moving along, as we have so many games that just take place. Colts and Falcons, just another 2 teams. Oh, they're on at noon.
They're just there,
Will I see that will I see the end of this game after my game's
Falcons,
over?
per usual, kicking like 5 field goals in one game. I'm not surprised that the Colts lost. I feel like the Colts could beat any team or lose to any team.
Yeah.
And the Falcons, again, could beat any team or lose to any team. And yeah, I don't think the Colts will make the playoffs. Falcons are just weird. Like Colts are on a hot streak. You lose to the Panthers last week, and then you beat the Colts. I don't know. I don't know football, man. I know it's random, but I don't know football.
Tough fantasy performed for the Colts. K. Granson, tight end.
Wow.
Yeah. Shout out to Bijan though, little 19 bomb. He did his part.
Yeah.
Indiana, Gardner Minshew dropped over 20 fantasy points last week, 201 yards and a pick. Now Jonathan Taylor did get a touchdown, but 18 rushes for 43 yards.
That's rough. That's a little over 2 yards a carry.
Taylor Heineke started for the Falcons, 229 yards and a touchdown. Tyler Algier, the only rushing touchdown, 69 rushing yards. Bijan, 7 catches, 50 yards. Bijan gives me Breece Hall vibes at times.
Yes, he does.
Honestly.
2 similar backs.
Any hope? Colts are currently in the playoffs, despite losing. I have no idea how that works. She was my 19. Are currently the 7th seed. It's pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
Colts are 2nd seed in the AFC South. They could still win the division. They could still win the freaking division. And Colts next weekend meet the Raiders. You should really actually will they win that game? You're losing to the Falcons.
That's if I'm a betting man, I am not going near that game because any of those teams can win it.
Falcons currently 2nd in the NFC South, 7-8. The -1 point differential.
-1.
Falcons next weekend, week 17, will be meeting with the Bears.
I think we all know what's going to happen there.
Honestly, right with the Bears. Do you? Bears have a under 1% point difference.
Hey, man, if you're saying there's a chance, there's a chance.
Falcons have a 10% chance to make the playoffs. How about that?
That goes away if the Bears win.
It might. This is next game. We'll briefly talk about the Panthers. Almost beat the Packers, 33-30.
Packers almost blew that, dude. Wow.
This was rough for you as you had Jordan Love over 223 passing yards?
It was 223 and a half. And how many yards did he throw for, Zach?
219. Wow, a 4.5 miss. That is insane.
In passing yards, too. That's even crazier. Not like rushing yards or receiving.
I'm pretty sure Jordan Love, 23.96 fantasy points, might have moved into the top 5 fantasy QBs with this performance.
Yeah, but that Packers defense is rough. You're giving up 30 points to the Panthers, man. I don't really think you got a chance.
An absolutely
to go to
nuclear
playoffs.
performance from DJ Chark Jr., 27.8
game for
fantasy
him.
points. My goodness. Panthers, though, I mean, just nothing helping them. I mean, Bryce Young, 312 yards, 2 touchdowns. I hate to say it, he looked decent today. Bryce Young actually had a good game, but DJ Chark, 6 catches, 98 yards, 2 touchdowns, this thing. I'm feeling 6 catches, 94 yards. Aaron Jones, 21 rushes, 127 yards. Can't beat that. Panthers are 2-13. What's 81 minus 36, Ryan? You math magician.
81 minus 36,
is that
44.
Minus 144 point differential.
That's rough.
0-8 on the road.
Wow.
Panthers yet to win on the road. Packers, 7-8. Yeah, plus 2 point differential. I could care less. Third in the NFC.
Well, you said
North.
81 minus 36?
Yeah.
It's 45.
Yeah,
Sorry.
minus 145. Packers
Had to correct myself.
Packers meet the Vikings next week. Let me actually lock in my pick real quick of the Vikings. Thank you very much. And the Panthers will meet with the Jaguars. They could actually win that game. I kid you
That'd
not.
be really sad if they did.
They could. There's just nothing.
They definitely could.
There's nothing to like from either of those teams. Embarrassing.
2 bad cats.
Yeah. Wow. Do you enjoy that? You enjoy the cats? Yeah. Lions and Vikings. Do we have to talk about this game? I don't think so. I think the Vikings won. I didn't really pay attention, but
He didn't really pay attention to the game. 4 interceptions in one game is wild. That is wild. Especially to that poor, sad, depressing Lions secondary.
yeah.
That's not that good.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Lions just kind of squeak out another win. Didn't really look pretty at times for them. Great offense, not a good defense. And Vikings are just missing Kirk Cousins. Is Kirk Cousins, is he even on like the sideline? They like never show him during the games.
He was rocking a boombox as Justin Jefferson was walking out.
Oh, nice. Wow. You got that going.
He
for
helps
you.
it. No, Monroe St. Brown, 28.6 fantasy points. Jameer Gibbs, 24. JJ dropped to 26.1. KJ Osborne, 20.5 was odd. Jared Goff threw for 257 yards and a touchdown. Montgomery rushed for 55 and a touchdown. Jameer Gibbs, 80 yards, 2 touchdowns.
He had a good game, yeah.
Monroe St. Brown, 12 catches, 106 yards and a touchdown. I mean, you just can't beat that guy. Nick Mullins, the top passer of our day with 411 yards.
And
Nick Mullins,
4
the top
interceptions.
turnover person of the day. 4 turnovers. All costly, by the way. All costly. Justin Jefferson, 6 catches, 141 yards and a touchdown. I freaking love you. KJ, you even did pretty decent yourself. Vikings now fall out of the playoffs to the number 8 spot in the hunt. 31% probability. Very, very tragic. Lions win the NFC North. I'll give it to them. They've
First
sucked
time in forever.
like 20 years or something. I'll give it to you.
Whatever, yeah.
You know what? Honestly, you beat us. I don't hate you. 11-4.
It's been a minute.
You guys are not even that bad. 412 points for. They crossed the 400 mark. Now, I will say your defense giving up 355 points is brutal. As for the Vikings, we still have a plus 15 point differential. We're 2-5 at home. We cannot win games at home to save our life. Which brings me up as we host the Packers.
You host the Packers, yeah.
Okay. I thought we visited the Packers.
We'll see how that goes.
Anyways, as for the Lions,
That's a Sunday night game, right?
yeah.
Sunday night, New Year's Eve.
I hope it stays. Lions play the Cowboys next week. I've never seen 2 more fraudulent teams play each other.
No.
But the thing is,
That will be a fun game to watch. See
Cowboys-
who's the more fraudulent team.
Cowboys are at home. I gotta lock that in. My pick right now, Cowboys early pick lock in. I mean, dude, they're 7-0 at home. There's just no way, right? Unless they play the Lions. We'll see.
Exactly.
We'll see. We got 4 more games to talk to you about before we give our playoff predictions. And then we'll end out the episode. How's that sound? I don't know how this happens, ladies and gentlemen, but all of our 2 podcasts have brought us early into the morning. It's currently 2:11 a.m., and we broke my podcast record streak for longest podcast of all time.
How long?
It was 3:05. We've hit 3:12 and counting.
Hey, man.
Hey, we're historic. We're
I like to
historic. Getting into the 3:30 games of Sunday, Christmas Eve, 2023. It's Christmas Day, Ryan. Wow.
Mary
How about that?
Chrysler.
Buccaneers blow out the Jaguars 30-12. I don't understand the NFL. Jaguars' fall off has been incredible. Calvin Ridley, 25.8 fantasy points. Evan Ingram, 17.5. Mike Evans, 27.6. Baker, 19.82. Even Rashad White, 19.7. Trevor Lawrence throws for 211 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks as he exits in the third quarter with an injury. Might have been a concussion.
It was his
leg.
I believe it was non-throwing shoulder. It was his throwing or non-throwing shoulder. I'm pretty sure it was non-throwing though.
Yikes. Evan Ingram, 10 catches, 95 yards. Calvin Ridley, 6 catches, 90 yards for 2 touchdowns. Looking at the Bucks, Baker, 283 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mike Evans, 7 catches, 86 yards, 2 touches. You got it. Bucks are 8-7, 4-game win streak.
I like the Bucks. They're hot right now, man. I like the Bucks.
Plus 24 point
4-7
differential.
to 8-7 is a pretty crazy turnaround.
Well, it's just a tale of 2 teams. I mean, how about them Jaguars, Ryan? 8-7, minus 12 point differential now. 4-game losing streak. They've completely lost the division.
They're the exact opposite of the Buccaneers, actually.
I compared to that Falcons team when they had Devontae Freeman, started out like 5-0, 6-0. So you'd win like 1 or 2 more games the rest of the season. Know what I'm talking about?
I do.
They still had Julio, they still had Matt.
That's just the classic Falcons, man. But, I mean, Trevor's starting to get... He was healthy his whole career. He's starting to get unhealthy. Jaguars' defense is horrible. That's what's causing them issues. Their defense is disgusting. And, they just got to stay consistent on offense. T-Law got to stay healthy. When he's healthy, they're a good team.
Exactly. Despite losing 4 straight games, Jaguars are still division leaders. Still the 4th seed in the AFC.
Yeah, for now.
As for the Bucks, they went from the bottom of the division, third worst in the division.
We don't count the pan. I mean, technically the bottom.
Technically bottom. Buccaneers are currently the 4th seed. Or technically the 3rd seed. I cannot with the NFL's.
Fourth.
Okay, they got them here though. They go 2, 4, 6, 7.
Yeah, but
I just cannot
it's
with
goofy.
them. Yeah, next weekend, Bucks beat the Saints. That's a toss-up for me. And as for the Jaguars, who I'm pretty sure I've picked in my Pick'ems pool every single week, play the Panthers. There's no way. There's just no way.
I want to say there's no way, but you never know.
Let me get
CJ Beathard is starting at quarterback. You never know.
Ugh. How about this, though? Bears win 27-16. Actually hang in there.
Awesome
James
job.
Conner, 22.2 fantasy points. Kyler Murray, 20.
Don't care.
Justin Fields, 24.5. Khalil, 19.1.
This was your standard Bears game. Over 250 rushing yards on the ground as a team. 21 points in the first half and then 6 in the second half. Classic Bears, I mean. Justin Fields he was not throwing the ball as much. I mean, Cole Kmet left the game with a knee injury. Hate to see it. But that defense has been playing the last 4 weeks, I believe, the defense has been playing amazing. We expected to win this game. Came out with the dub, 11-point win.
Perfect.
I'm happy.
Let's see. Anything special? Khalil Herbert, 112 yards and a touchdown. Huh.
No, the boys were blocking well today for sure.
And Cole Kmet, 4 catches, 107 yards.
Just in the first half because he left it. He left after the first half.
Yes, DJ I thought was going to get hurt, but he actually returned.
Yeah.
DJ Moore, thank goodness. Arizona Cardinals stats. Kyler Murray, 203 yards, 2 touchdowns. James Conner had 5 catches for 67 yards and 8 tutty. Bears 6-9, minus 31 point differential. Have been 4-3 at home, not too bad, but I mean, in somehow statistically,
Don't count us out, baby.
Bears are the 12th team in the hunt. They do have an under 1% chance to make the playoffs. It ain't over. It ain't over till it's over, Ryan.
Exactly.
You guys play the Falcons next week. I honestly don't think you lose that. I mean, honestly.
It's a winnable game, but with the Bears, you never know.
Never freaking know. Cardinals, I mean, where do I begin? Worst team in the NFC West. Second worst team in the league now. I'm pretty sure. 3-12. They've given up 403 points. Only scored 275. That's minus 120. Minus 128. 1-7 on the road. 2-5 at home. I mean, Cardinals. We should have done over-under for the Cardinals back in July.
Yeah.
My goodness. Cardinals will do battle with the Eagles.
Uh-oh.
Okay, why did they match up all the animals
I
this
don't
past
know.
week? Yeah,
Cardinals, Eagles, Panthers, Jaguars.
There's one more. Maybe there wasn't. A dolphin and a raven.
Same thing to me.
Yeah. But yeah, embarrassing stuff from the Cardinals this season. Bears, sadly, thankfully they get the Panthers' number 1 pick. Bears, sadly, kind of like the Vikings, fell into the mid-range. We're not going to get a good pick. You guys will, but we're not going to get a good pick. We probably won't make the playoffs.
Yeah, the Bears will finish with like a top 8 pick.
All right, and what was supposed to be America's Game of the Week turned into a field goal masterclass from the Dolphins as Dolphins beat the Cowboys 22-20. Shout out to CeeDee Lamb with 25.2 fantasy points, but he had 20 at the end of the first quarter, only 5 to round out the game.
Ugh.
And Jason Sanders, 22 fantasy points. Tyreek, though, 18.9, doing Tyreek things. Cowboys, after blowing out the Eagles, being the team to beat, have been beaten 2 weeks in a row. 451 points put up, though. 286 allowed. It's not too bad.
That is a lot.
Perfect 7-0 at home. They do their thing. Dak had a casual day, 253 yards and 2 touchdowns. It was pretty much CeeDee Lamb, 6 catches, 118 yards and a touchdown. That got it done. I think the story's more Miami, though. Miami is now tied. Actually, they're
They beat the allegations of not being able to beat a team with a winning record. So
yeah, they're only
good for them, man.
They're a loss behind the Ravens, but honestly, they're probably one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah.
11-4, best offense, 463 points, 314 given ups, kind of a doozy, but that gives us a plus 149 point differential. How about that? Tua threw for 293 yards at a touchdown. Tyreek, 9 catches, 99 yards. Can't ask for much more, honestly. Decent. Dolphins, number 2 seed in the AFC, still considered in the hunt. I cannot, with how the NFL's listed this.
I guess they haven't technically clinched yet somehow.
I guess the Ravens are the only team that's actually clinched, but Dolphins basically could be your 2 seed. I mean,
wait, I think they probably have clinched. It's like the Lions, probably, because
I assume.
Yeah.
They had to have clinched.
Yeah.
Dolphins next week, we mentioned, play the Ravens. So that's honestly, Ravens and Dolphins, back-to-back tough games for them. Kind of fun how it's all turning out. As for the Cowboys, I mean, they've clinched the playoff spot. Currently the 5th seed. Looks like they might end up in the 5th seed, seeing how it all plays out. Next weekend, the Cowboys will play if I can find it, error happens. Lions. They play the Lions. We already mentioned that. That'll be a close one.
Yes. Will be an interesting game to watch for sure.
Alrighty, and let's wrap it up. Patriots, Broncos. Patriots win 26-23. Don't even know how.
That was Broncos come back. You think the Broncos are on a hot streak, and then the Panthers kick a 50-something yard field goal to win the game. You're like, what? Sorry, they're showing Bears highlights on the TV right now. I
don't see anything impressive here.
I'm seeing greatness. Anyways, yeah, Broncos doing Broncos things, man. You think this team's hot? They've probably their last 8 games. I think they're probably 6-2.
Mm-hmm.
And then you drop a game to the pitiful Patriots.
Worst offense in the league. Let me just tell you. Actually, they might not have the worst offense in the league anymore after this game. Patriots have 212 points for.
That's definitely
the worst offense in the AFC.
Yeah, no, without a doubt.
That is the worst offense in the league.
That's rough.
Wow. Actually, the Giants have 189.
Oh my God.
Wow, how about that? So Patriots second to worst. Ezekiel Elliott drops
189.
Yeah, how about that? Ezekiel Elliott, 21 fantasy bomb. Pat's D, 17. Russell Wilson, 23.52. I played him. I love fantasy
football.
Good
for him.
Bailey Zappi, I'll be damned, 256 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Can't ask for nothing else, man.
Ezekiel Elliott, what was it with running backs today? 9 catches, only 33 yards, got a tutty.
9 catches, wow.
Russ, 230 yards and 2 touchdowns. No turnovers. nothing really impressive in the running back realm. Yeah. That was all the action that went down today for that. Broncos not technically eliminated, have a 5% chance to make the playoffs as they are currently 11th in the hunt. They are second in the AFC West.
Basically say goodbye.
Yeah,
though.
Gonna lose out. Minus
Adios.
50 point differential. It's tough to be a Broncos fan. Broncos, I wish you luck next week as you play who do the Broncos play? Chargers. That's 50-50. That's 50-50. As for the Patriots, 4-11, minus 110 point differential.
They lose out on some good draft stock.
1-7 at home. Sorry, season ticket holders. Yeah. I don't even know what to say. Bye-bye Bill Belichick, too. Play the Bills next week. Ooh. I mean, you did beat the Bills.
You
beat the Bills.
Never know.
Yeah. Well, this was a long one, Ryan. The night grows late. Let's wrap it up with our playoff predictions. To round us out, I mean, obviously, we'll start with the AFC. AFC, because we care more about the NFC, I feel. Ravens have obviously clinched. Probably could be the number 1 seed. They're just Dolphins would have to win out.
Yeah.
They lose out.
Yeah.
So you'll be seeing the Ravens as your number 1 seed. Actually, write this out so we can map it out. Ravens number 1 seed. Number 2, I'm seeing Dolphins. Dolphins.
Agree, yeah.
They're 11-4. The odds of them making it 99%. Chiefs are currently your 3rd. I feel like that would make sense.
Yeah, no one's passing them.
Here's where I think it gets interesting. Here's where I think it gets very interesting. The Jaguars have lost 4 straight. Now, obviously, the Colts and Texans struggle to win too. Do we see the Jaguars taking this division? Now, I don't have... Actually, let's look at the Jaguars' last 2 games. They play the Panthers and the Titans. Yeah. Those are favorable.
Yeah.
Those are favorable. So are we giving Jaguars the 4th seed?
See, I don't want to... Losing 6 straight's pretty crazy to me. So a big part of me is like, that's not going to happen.
No.
But if you know ball, you know last year, I believe the Titans, they lost a good amount. They went on a huge losing streak to end the season and dropped out of the playoffs. Titans were not in the playoffs, but they went on a huge losing streak last year and dropped out of the playoffs. So, I mean, could happen again this year. I don't think it will. As long as Trevor Lawrence's injury isn't that insane to me, I think they'll... Again, they play the Panthers and the Titans.
We'll throw our crappy Jaguars in at the 4th spot for our playoffs. Number 5, Browns. I mean, they're 10-5 at the moment. The Bills are on their tail. But, I mean, the Browns will round out their season with Jets and Bengals. Two tough teams. 2 teams
that will play them hard. I feel like the Browns and Bills are interchangeable, but to me, I don't really think it matters what order.
No, okay, so let's see what the Bills will round out their season, of course, with the Patriots, and then their final season game will be the Dolphins. So I'm really liking that we put the Browns at 5. Bills at 6.
I'll throw Browns at 5, but to me, I just have the Browns and Bills.
Are you putting Bills at 6?
Yeah, I'll throw them at 6.
So then 7, it'll actually probably all come down to Colts and Texans, Week 18. You also have Bengals, Steelers, Broncos.
It's going to be the winner of that Week 18 game. And
so who's sneaking in? Colts, Texans, Bengals, Steelers.
I'll just go with the more complete team. I'll go with the Colts.
Colts sneak in at number 7. So... let's run our AFC playoff projection right now. Then we'll do NFC, just so we don't flip-flop. So our matchups would be Ravens first round bye, Dolphins versus Colts.
Yep. Chiefs versus Bills, which is an insane wild card matchup.
That's a wild card game.
Most people's AFC Championship, and then Jags Browns.
Okay, so Dolphins and Colts. That's got to be Dolphins, right?
Yeah.
Are you giving that? I'm giving that to Dolphins. So then Dolphins advance. Chiefs and Bills.
I'm going to roll Bills. I think the Chiefs are fraudulent.
Chiefs have low-key owned the Bills, though.
Exactly.
And they're coming for revenge.
You can't own them for too long, though. I'm telling you.
I'm going to say...
I think the Bills will be dangerous in the playoffs.
I'm going to say Chiefs, so you go Bills, I'll go Chiefs. Jags and Browns,
I'm
going
to go Browns.
I'm saying Browns do it. All right, so then my matchup would be Ravens versus Bills, and yours would be Dolphins versus...
No, my matchup's Ravens-Bills.
Mine's
Your
Ravens,
matchup's
Chiefs,
Ravens-Browns.
Ravens, Brown. Okay, actually, write this out so we can plan this out. No worry, this ain't no Joe Rogan. We don't have to be overly professional. All right.
Mine's Ravens-Bills. Yours Ravens-Browns.
Okay, so we have completely different playoff routes at the moment. I have Ravens, Browns.
And then I would have Finns, Browns.
You have Dolphins versus Browns, and I would have...
You have Finns, Chiefs.
Dolphins versus Chiefs.
That's an explosive game.
Oof. Okay, so for my Ravens-Browns matchup, I'm giving it to Ravens.
Okay.
What about your Ravens-Bills matchup?
I roll with the Bills every year. I love the Bills, but I can't. I gotta go Ravens.
Ravens advance to the conference final for both of us. Then I get Dolphins-Chiefs. Here's the thing. I think Chiefs in season, Chiefs playoffs could be different teams.
Yeah, Mahomes in the playoffs is different for sure.
I'm going to say Chiefs.
Okay.
I hate to deride the Chiefs though. Oh, there's something about it.
You know what? I gotta do it. Defense with chips. I'm gonna go Browns.
Browns over Dolphins?
Basically because I feel like that's just a play. I don't see the Dolphins going to the AFC Championship.
Yeah.
Like, I do not. I'm telling you, you have a veteran quarterback.
Yeah.
You have a really good defense.
Very much so.
You got some offensive playmakers. It's really all you need.
All right, perfect. And I'm going to say I just feel that Patrick Mahomes will play amazing. You know, I'm not a huge Patrick Mahomes guy in general, but I just think this Ravens defense will come up big.
Yes.
Lamar will finally show this is his year, and he'll get it done. So I'm being dead serious. If Lamar does not do well in the playoffs this year, I will never predict him to win a playoff game again.
I won't either because I have the Ravens going to the Super Bowl.
I think I've said make it or break it. I think we both have Ravens going on different paths, by the way. On different paths.
Very much so.
But, we got Ravens in the Super Bowl. Let's see who they're playing as we'll round up this episode with our NFC projections. I mean, it's a tight race at the top. I'm going to say 49ers get one. Do we go with that? Do we think the Eagles steal it?
No, I don't think because the 49ers have the tiebreaker.
49ers do have the tiebreaker.
The 49ers have to lose out and the Eagles have to win out.
Okay, so 49ers get the one.
The 49ers would have to lose 2 out of 3, and I really don't see that happening.
So, frick, this gets complicated. Lions are the 2 currently, but we have to assume Eagles beat Giants, right?
Yeah.
We just got to assume that. So then they'd have the same record. Eagles would finish out their year with a Cardinals game and another Giants game.
I feel like the Eagles lock up the 2 seed.
All right, and then Lions, I know, play the Vikings again. And the Lions, in their Week 17, play Cowboys. At home.
Yeah,
at Cowboys home.
I got the Eagles at the 2 seed.
Eagles at the 2. Perfect.
Lions at the 3.
Lions 3. And then...
I'll go Bucks.
Bucks win the division.
Yeah, I'll go Bucks.
Bucks win the division.
And then so that means Cowboys first wild card spot.
Cowboys at the 5. And now 6 and 7 are so shaky.
I feel like the Rams are going to lock up a spot. They're one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now. Let's look at their last 2 games.
So the Rams will round out with Giants and 49ers.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, 49ers will most likely rest final week.
If they end up winning out.
If they own a tiebreaker against the Eagles.
They'll rest, and even if they split, I feel like the Rams will make the playoffs. So I'm confident putting Rams at the 6.
Rams at the 6, which means we just have to decide, do the Seahawks make it?
Let me look at the Week 17 schedule again.
Week 17. I mean, you're getting... Lions and Cowboys. We're assuming Cowboys.
You know what?
What's the...
As a Bears fan, this hurts. I'm going to say screw it. Get a little risky. I'm going to throw the Packers in there.
Throwing the Packers in. I'm not going to do that for my 7th
I'm going to throw the
seed.
Packers in. You know, Jordan Love.
I'm just not going
If
to
this guy throws a Viking in, that would be pretty crazy. Out of those 4 teams, out of Packers, Vikings,
Wait.
Falcons, Saints. I mean, I could see the Saints. I see Saints or Packers. I see the Saints or
No.
Packers.
Let me see the Seahawks final few games. Because the Seahawks are currently in at the 7. They play Steelers, Cardinals. I want Seahawks at my 7.
Okay.
I mean, I even think if Vikings win out, they just won't make it compared to other teams.
Yeah.
But I want Seahawks. Okay, so right now, these are our matchups. We're looking at Eagles versus Packers or Seahawks for me and Ryan, respectively.
Yeah.
We got Lions and Rams,
And then Bucks, Cowboys.
Bucks and Cowboys. Okay, this is insane. Bucks and Cowboys will be played in Tampa Bay.
That is weird to think about, but I don't. I mean, again, Cowboys can't win games away, but I don't see the Cowboys losing to the Buccaneers.
Neither do I. I think the
That's
idea of it's
crazy.
better than it is. I'll give it to Cowboys.
My one upset, I said it earlier in the pod. I think Lions lose to the Rams without a doubt.
I'm not gonna. Okay, keep track of this.
Yeah.
So we're both going with Cowboys over Bucks.
But I got the Rams being the Lions if that game were to happen.
I want Lions. I think Lions do it.
Mm-hmm.
Lions make it. There's not a world the Packers or Seahawks beat the Eagles.
Eagles are a tough team, yeah. No.
I'm giving that to Eagles. I think this tough stretch will end.
I feel like Eagles are one of those teams that they'll pick it up in the playoffs.
So then it's 49ers versus Cowboys for me. Eagles and Lions.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
That's a
This
good
could be
matchups.
excellent playoffs if this all turns out how we have it mapped out. So yes, Ryan, what do you have?
49ers, Rams. I feel like that's pretty easy to me. 49ers. Eagles, Cowboys. Ooh.
The trilogy of the
Ooh.
season. How about they split too? So this would be the tiebreaker.
It's at Philly. I feel like that's got to play a factor. I got to go Eagles.
Okay. So
I'm telling you, I just... Eagles are just the type of Sirianni coach team. They're the type of team to get hot in the playoffs. They are.
So 49ers, Cowboys. That's my matchup.
Yeah.
In San Francisco, give me 49ers. I mean, they already played. We saw what happened. And then Eagles, Lions. I mean, I feel like I should pick Eagles. But, I mean, I'm giving 2018 Vikings vibes. Lions pull off the upset. Lions over Eagles in the divisional round. Just to give them hope. I mean, give it to me. Obviously, 49ers beat the Lions.
Yeah.
Just the hope.
I'm gonna go Eagles. Like I have a feeling it'd be crazy if it was one of those things where I call it. I have a feeling the Eagles are.
Here,
gonna
get
go
a
on
pic
run.
of that or something. Because let me just tell you something. I've seen that when they released the early picture of what the logo looks like, that the color scheme, and the color scheme is Ravens and Eagles, or Ravens and 49ers, I'm pretty sure.
Interesting.
But
I like the Ravens coming out of the AFC. I think the NFC could be, statistically speaking, Cowboys, Eagles, or 49ers. But I think NFL fans know Cowboys are not.
So, wow, our Super Bowls, I have a rematch between Joe Flacco and Colin Kaepernick, the Ravens and 49ers.
Yeah.
And you Battle of the Birds.
Battle of the Birds, baby.
Ravens and Eagles. I'm going to do... I don't know if Lamar Jackson's Cinderella storybook story of blowing it every year, winning the Super Bowl. I'm going to give it to 49ers. That's who I'm giving my Super Bowl to, the 49ers.
More complete team. And for me, I feel like I just have to go Ravens. I think statistically speaking, the Eagles just have like a harder path to make it to the Super Bowl rather than the Ravens. So I feel like like I said, statistically speaking, analytically speaking, you go with the team that pick a Super Bowl that has the easier path.
Yes.
Ravens have an easier path rather than an NFC team.
And personally,
So,
but
I do think the
pick that
49ers
too.
are the best team in the NFL.
I would pick Ravens over.
But that doesn't always mean they're going to win the Super Bowl.
I'd pick Ravens over Eagles too. Mm-hmm. I just feel like we're putting a lot of faith in this Eagles team that has lost 3 straight games.
Yeah.
But we'll see if this comes true. I feel like this will be fun. Whenever I come visit you next, if I see you over spring break, if I just listen to this, maybe when I visit you in Iowa, we do a podcast. I'll re-listen to this take off all our information. But as of right now, I have 49ers, you have Ravens winning the Super Bowl. It'll be interesting to see who makes the playoffs, who makes it, just whatever. But yeah, super fun stuff all around. Anything else you want to talk about, Ryan? Any other closing notes for the podcast? I mean, this has gone on very long. Records have been shattered.
Bears are not going to draft a quarterback. We're sticking with Jay Fields. I don't want to see anyone saying we're going to draft Caleb Williams. We're not drafting him. We're sticking with Jay Stick. We're drafting Marvin Harrison, an offensive lineman, and we're winning the Super Bowl in 3 years. Mark it right now.
Wow, so we're this podcast was recorded on Christmas Day, which is weird to say as we're gonna go to sleep before Christmas Day.
Technically recorded on Christmas Eve. We started recording.
I'll say that technically Christmas Eve. Bears winning the Super Bowl in what would that be? 2026.
They will win the 2026 to 20. The Chicago Bears will win the Super Bowl in the 2026 to 2027 NFL season. Mark my words.
I'm gonna be honest. I hope I get 40 to 50 more years of good life. If I kid's got to win one Super Bowl in 40, 50 years, I hope so. But this has been fun. This has been crazy. I will say I am feeling the late nightness.
Yes.
I mean, we've been
same here.
We've been up since like 9, 10 in the morning. Went after it. We shattered my record for longest podcast ever. It was a pleasure having you on, Ryan. You're invited anytime.
Thank you.
We could be co-hosts of this IP. It flows so natural.
One day, man. Mark, again, you say that. I said the Chicago Bears. In 4 years, we will be running the top podcast in the world.
Oh, now wouldn't that be something? This is fun. We talked about I did my end of the year UFC rankings. Had you blind rank some fast food. Ranked our top 10 Christmas movies. Talked about fantasy football. Talked about, oh my gosh, what didn't we talk about in the NFL?
Everything.
So,
everything and everything even
amazing.
More.
It's absolutely amazing. You gave your closing remarks, Ryan. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast.
Thank you for having me on. Blessings. And I'll be back on again soon, of course.
I love it. This was Ryan Boniecki. I'm Zach Ruger, and I'll catch you next time on the Surprise Jab Podcast.